Chapter 2756 Mother 2. As the power of the thunderbolts increased, the pill tribulation that the purple gold pill had to bear naturally became heavier and heavier. Its flickering state also made Hui Yu's heart jump to his throat. It was too exciting and too shocking. After a long time, the glow of the lightning gradually faded, but the dark clouds had not dispersed. Leng Ruoxue and the rest could not be sure if the pill tribulation had truly ended. Furthermore, from the state of the purple gold pill, it seemed to be waiting for something. As expected. The moment Leng Ruoxue and the rest had this thought, the sky changed color. Several bolts of lightning as thick as an arm descended at the same time, striking straight at the purple gold pill. In an instant, the purple gold pill was drowned in lightning. It's finished. Finished. It was its reincarnation pill. Humph. Hui Yu felt that the reincarnation pill was going to die this time, because it was already a little difficult for the reincarnation pill to resist the thunderbolts. This time, he was afraid that it would die. Hui Yu's heart ached. He stared at the thunder and lightning with tears in his eyes. He suddenly hated them. Without them, the clan leader might have already woken up. But now, there was no hope at all. Sob. Why would a pill tribulation appear? It could not understand. The Fire Yu, which was about to turn its gaze to Leng Ruoxue for an inquiry, suddenly felt a strange aura. It turned its head abruptly and was surprised to find that the thunder and lightning that had not dispersed for a long time in the sky had disappeared without a trace. Instead, what replaced the thunder and lightning was a golden pillar of light. It looked a little like when the rules of heaven and earth descended. What was this? Then, it heard a cheerful laughter coming from the light beam. When the light beam disappeared, a tender and clear child's voice came to everyone's ears. Ha ha ha. Born. You bastard. Who was speaking? The Qilin clan, led by Hui Yu, were all dumbfounded. They could not find the owner of the voice, so they all turned to look at Leng Ruoxue in unison. Leng Ruoxue did not know whether to laugh or cry. Why are you all looking at me? Don't tell me you think I'm the one talking. Leng Ruoxue smiled helplessly. The one who spoke was definitely not you, but you should know. Hui Yu said with certainty. All right. I do know, it said so. Leng Ruoxue pointed her finger. Hui Yu followed Leng Ruoxue's finger and turned his head around. He realized that the purple gold pill had floated behind him. Ugh! Could it be that Leng Ruoxue was referring to it? No, this is impossible. How could a pill speak? Hui Yu would never believe it. However, at this moment, a voice suddenly sounded from behind Hui Yu, hee hee. Big guy, I'm the one who spoke. As the elixir spoke, Hui Yu couldn't continue lying to himself. Then, he was so scared that his legs went soft and he directly collapsed on the ground. Oh my god. These days, even medicinal pills could speak. Did this still want to live like a beast? With that thought in mind, Hui Yu ran out of Leng Ruoxue's courtyard as if he was being chased by an evil spirit. Its actions also confused the purple gold pill. Thanks floating to Leng Ruoxue's side, Daniao shook his round body and asked Leng Ruoxue, Mom, what happened to it? He asked. Mom? Hearing this form of address, Leng Ruoxue was once again shocked. Could he not call her that? Even though she had refined this pill herself, Leng Ruoxue truly did not wish for this little fellow to call her mommy. However, after hearing what the little guy said, Jiang Ning was quite interested. Little guy, you call her mom, then what should you call us? Dad? Jiang Ning's words made Leng Ruoxue speechless. You bastard. Wasn't this taking advantage of him? Can you not be like this? Kiss. Leng Ruoxue was very worried. Even if this pill wanted to call him father, it wouldn't be Jiang Ning's turn, right? As for the newly born Daniao, it was indeed very capable. Its small body leaned to the side and said with a slight disdain, I don't need a father. I only need a mother. With that, it looked at Leng Ruoxue obediently and said, Mom, I'm good, right? Be good. Leng Ruoxue didn't know what she could say. When the Qilin clan members saw how happy and harmonious they were as a family, they were speechless and didn't know what to say. However, Uncle Long and the others were quite calm, because Shui Er's miracles were too many to count. It didn't seem strange that she had a child with medicinal pills. She wondered how the evil man would feel if he knew how many pills he had. They were suddenly looking forward to it. But now, this was obviously not as important as the identity of this medicinal pill. After confirming that the other party was indeed the reincarnation pill, Leng Ruoxue and the rest were deeply worried. This little fellow had already developed intelligence and could even speak. Could it still be eaten? Even though Leng Ruoxue had unintentionally refined an antidote pill that was quite spiritual in the past, that antidote pill could not speak due to its low grade. However, this little thing could. And he kept calling her mother. It was undeniable that Leng Ruoxue's heart had turned soft after hearing this childlike voice. Hence, she was also extremely conflicted. She already knew the importance of the reincarnation pill to the Qilin race, but this pill. Everyone sat in the living room, sighing and discussing the fate of the reincarnation pill. The reincarnation pill seemed to know that the time to decide its fate had come, so it was unusually quiet. Seeing it like this, everyone couldn't bear it. Shui, why don't we make another reincarnation pill? After thinking for a while, Jiang Ning came up with an idea. I want to, but I'm afraid I don't have enough herbs. Leng Ruoxue said, feeling a little angry. Ai. What should he do then? Could it be that this little fellow is going to die right after it's born? Jiang Ning looked at the reincarnation pill with sympathy. The reincarnation pill was also relatively quiet. Idiot. Idiot. Who said we're for eating? At that moment, an unfamiliar voice suddenly rang out in the living room. Leng Ruoxue and the rest raised their heads subconsciously and saw another purple gold pill floating in front of their eyes. That pill was almost exactly the same as the reincarnation pill beside them. However, it was much bigger and its color was darker. At this moment, the purple gold pill was throbbing violently, showing the anger in its heart. When the purple gold pill saw Leng Ruoxue, it snorted coldly, your father's new disciple? After asking this question, it circled around Leng Ruoxue again, as if it was observing her. Leng Ruoxue nodded her head, then graciously allowed the purple gold pill to be evaluated. She could already tell that this pill was the one her master had refined. However, shouldn't it be in the hands of the Ripple Witch? Why would he be here? The astonished Leng Ruoxue didn't even have the time to voice out the doubt in her heart when she heard the purple gold pill say with a tone of disdain, what an idiot. He doesn't know that the reincarnation pill isn't meant to be eaten. Chapter 2757 Mother 3. Hearing this, Leng Ruoxue's face darkened. Wasn't it normal that she didn't know? It was likely that no one in the entire divine realm would know about this. Of course, this was with the exception of her master, who had already fallen. When Uncle Long and the others heard this, they couldn't help but reveal shocked expressions. This was the first time he had heard that medicinal pills were not meant to be eaten. Then what was it for? Play. The pill recipe and experience that Master left me did not have any records about the reincarnation pill. That's why I'm not clear about the effects of the reincarnation pill. Taking a deep breath, Leng Ruoxue told herself not to be calculative over a single pill before realizing her dream. Like this? It seems that I have wronged you. The purple gold pill said after some thought. Seeing that the new purple gold pill was willing to correct its mistakes, Leng Ruoxue naturally did not hold it against it. However, she still asked out of curiosity, are you the reincarnation pill that my master refined? I heard that you've fallen into the hands of Wu Chen. Why have you suddenly appeared in the territory of the Qilin clan? Of course I am. What qualifications does Wu Chen have to obtain me? Although she caught me once, I managed to escape. I've been hiding since then. As for why I'm here, it's because of this. The purple gold pill pointed at the reincarnation pill beside Leng Ruoxue. I didn't expect that it was the reincarnation pill that I concocted that attracted you. Len Ruoxue asked in surprise. Humph. If I wasn't afraid that you would hurt it, I wouldn't have made this trip. The purple gold pill said proudly. Ah. We don't want to harm it, but the Qilin clan's patriarch can't just leave it be. Len Ruoxue said helplessly. Idiot. Didn't I say that I was afraid you would use the wrong method? The purple gold pill roared. Thank you, brother. The reincarnation pill moved to the side of the purple gold pill gratefully and rubbed against it affectionately. You don't have to thank me. Just follow me in the future, okay? Look at your strength, no wonder you were eaten by humans as an ordinary pill. The purple gold pill roared with a look of disappointment. The reincarnation pill, who had been shouted at, looked at the big brother beside him with a humble expression, as if he had found his backbone. However, it was afraid that its mother would not agree to it hanging out with its big brother. Hence, it looked at Len Ruoxue very carefully and asked, Mom, can I be with brother? Sure. Len Ruoxue nodded, then turned her gaze towards the purple gold pill and asked, You said that the reincarnation pill isn't meant to be eaten. Can you tell me how to use it to save people? It's very simple, you just need to place us next to the injured. In this way, the spiritual energy we release will naturally heal the injuries of the injured. If the wounded ate us directly, it wouldn't be saving our lives, but killing us. The spiritual energy in our bodies isn't something that just anyone can handle. The purple gold pill replied honestly. Len Ruoxue gave it some thought and felt that it made sense. In itself, the number of medicinal herbs required to refine the reincarnation pill was extremely large. There were also countless natural treasures. The spiritual energy contained in such a pill was naturally huge. If someone could really swallow it, it would be strange if they didn't burst. However, they were too concerned about it, so none of them had thought of this before. Now that the purple gold pill had reminded them, they couldn't help but feel some lingering fear. If something really happened to the Qilin race's patriarch because he ate the reincarnation pill, it would be strange if the Qilin race didn't treat them as their mortal enemies. More importantly, they couldn't bear to see the reincarnation pill being eaten. Now that they knew the reincarnation pill didn't need to be eaten and could save the Qilin clan leader, they were naturally happy. This was a win-win situation. After settling a huge matter on her mind, Len Ruoxue personally took the reincarnation pill to look for the Firyu. Previously, Huiyu did not dare to believe the fact that the pill could speak and was quite shocked. Therefore, he did not rush them to ask about the reincarnation pill. However, now that she had the correct method to save the Qilin clan leader, Len Ruoxue was naturally unwilling to waste any more time. She found a Qilin to lead the way and headed to Huiyu's residence. The moment she entered his room, Len Ruoxue noticed that he was sitting on a chair listlessly. She had no idea what he was thinking about. You're here. Feeling the swaying figure in front of him, Huiyu greeted him indifferently. Len Ruoxue nodded and found a seat. I've brought the reincarnation pill. After a long while, Len Ruoxue saw that the other party had no intention of speaking, so she took the initiative to speak. Can that pill be eaten? Will something happen to you? Upon hearing this, Huiyu finally reacted and asked with a frightened expression. You can't eat it. Len Ruoxue told the truth, and Huiyu revealed an expression of I knew it. Woo! I knew it. That pill was a monster, it couldn't be eaten at all. At the thought of this, Huiyu even began to cry. Len Ruoxue was forced to swallow the words she wanted to say when she saw its state. She hadn't finished, all right? How could this guy's endurance be so weak? Len Ruoxue was speechless, but she kept her silence to save Huiyu some face. Unfortunately, the purple gold pill couldn't bear to see Huiyu's dead look, so he shouted, You bastard! Look at your current appearance, which part of you still looks like a Qilin? Pull yourself together. Don't act like someone else owes you 20 to 80,000. Len Ruoxue was speechless. This medicinal pill was also quite cowardly when it came to scolding people. Thanks on the other hand, the Firyu was completely dumbfounded. It stared at the purple gold elixir for a long time, then glanced at the similar elixir that was obediently floating beside Leng Ruoxue. It suddenly reacted and roared, "Mother! Help me! It's too scary." It had been scolded by a single pill, so how could there be two reincarnation pills? And this one was obviously much fiercer than the other one. Seeing that Huiyu had actually cried for help, Leng Ruoxue was also in a mess. She tried her best to comfort Huiyu. "Your Excellency, fire you, please calm down. This is really damaging to your prestige as the acting clan leader." "Calm down? How am I supposed to calm down? I've lived for so long, but I've never been scolded by a medicinal pill before." This was truly too terrifying. How could such a thing happen? Huiyu was a little too agitated and roared. "Ah!" Hearing her words, Leng Ruoxue didn't know how to comfort it. After that, Huiyu asked again, "Miss Leng, can you explain why there are two reincarnation pills? Don't tell me that you're the one who refined these two." "No, I only managed to make one." Leng Ruoxue was very honest. Then, Huiyu was horrified. Could it be that there was really a ghost? "Idiot! I was made by my father." The purple gold pill roared. "Dad? Who's your father?" Huiyu asked in a silly way. "He's my master." Leng Ruoxue informed him helplessly. She had wanted to say this just now, but she never had the chance. "Master you?" This time, Huiyu was even more confused. That reincarnation pill should be in the hands of Wu Chen. In the past, Wu Yan had wanted to use it to exchange for her clan's submission. However, he was rejected by them. They knew very well that even if they managed to save their clan leader with the reincarnation pill, their clan leader wouldn't be happy if he found out. "Yes, it was attracted by the reincarnation pill I made. That's why you're seeing two now," Leng Ruoxue explained. "Shouldn't it be in the hands of Wu Chen? Why are you running around?" Huiyu asked with uncertainty. "You bastard! I'll say it one last time, Rai mice did catch me, but I escaped. So I'm free now. Please don't put me together with that annoying woman, Wu Han. Otherwise, I'll be angry. And if I'm angry, don't even think about asking me to save your clan head." The purple gold pill threatened. Upon hearing this, Huiyu immediately perked up. He looked at the purple gold elixir nervously and asked excitedly, You can save the clan leader. But I thought you couldn't eat it." That was what Leng Ruoxue had said just now, wasn't it? "I can't be eaten, but that doesn't mean I can't save people, understand?" The purple gold pill asked indifferently. "I understand. I understand." The fire you instantly resurrected on the spot as if it had been injected with chicken blood. At this time, all the fear and terror were gone, and only joy was left. After that, it left Leng Ruoxue and the two reincarnation pills behind and scuttled out of the room. It flew around in the sky in excitement and would even howl from time to time. Looking at the seemingly crazy fire you, Leng Ruoxue really wanted to say that she didn't know it. In just one day, she had witnessed the many aspects of the fire you, which made her deeply conflicted. In the end, she came to an important conclusion. Huiyu's character could not be judged by common sense. The fire use jumping up and down also attracted many Qilin to come and watch. Especially the elders of the Qilin clan. They didn't know why the acting clan leader had suddenly gone crazy. After they caught Huiyu and asked him what had happened, the entire Qilin clan was in an uproar. Roars and the sound of heavy objects falling to the ground rang out in succession. Upon seeing this, Leng Ruoxue decisively chose to return to her room. The entire Qilin clan had gone mad, and she didn't want to be accidentally injured. After the entire Qilin clan had calmed down, Huiyu suddenly realized that Leng Ruoxue had left without him knowing. How could this be? Huiyu brought the elders to Leng Ruoxue's residence. Without another word, he pulled Leng Ruoxue along and left. Leng Ruoxue, who was being pulled, used a lot of strength to pull her arm out of the other party's large claws. She then looked at Fire Guangdong helplessly and said, "Your Excellency Fire Yu, if you have something to say it properly. Don't touch me, okay? My small arms and legs can't withstand your pulling." "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did I hurt you?" Hu Yu was apologetic when he heard that. Then, he said, "I was looking for you to save the clan leader with the reincarnation pill. That's why I'm a little anxious." It was afraid that the reincarnation pill would not listen to its command. Otherwise, it would not have bothered Leng Ruoxue. "I can understand. Let's go now." Leng Ruoxue nodded. Chapter 2758, An Outrageous Request. 1. She was well aware of the importance of the reincarnation pill to the Qilin clan. Naturally, she would not blame Hu Yu for being reckless. As soon as Fire Yu heard this, it immediately put Leng Ruoxue on its back. Then, it teleported away at lightning speed. Uncle Long and the others, who had witnessed all this, could only sigh. This was because the old Qilin was really too restless. It had already waited for so many years. How could it be that it was only a few more days? Of course, it wasn't that they didn't understand the Fire Yu's eagerness. They just felt that the person in front of them was different from the Fire Qilin they knew. When they first saw the Fire Yu, they thought it was a very serious beast. Now, it had completely overturned the unattainable image of the Qilin in their hearts. AI. With a heavy sigh, everyone went back to what they were doing. At the same time, Leng Ruoxue could only feel the wind whistling by her ears. The speed of the Fire Yu was so fast that it brought about a gust of strong wind, causing Leng Ruoxue to be unable to open her eyes. By the time she could open her eyes, she suddenly realized that they had arrived at their destination. At this moment, she couldn't help but suspect that the Qilin had done it on purpose. However, when she saw Hu Yu looking at her apologetically, Leng Ruoxue immediately dispelled this thought. Hu Yu was probably just too impatient. Then, he looked around. Leng Ruoxue was surprised to find that they were surrounded by mountains. Their current location should be in a mountain stream that was even deeper than the Qilin clan's territory. Where is this place? Leng Ruoxue's face was filled with question marks as she looked at the Fire Yu. Actually, she had more or less guessed it, but she had yet to verify it with the Fire Yu. "The chief is sleeping here," Hu Yu suddenly said with a sad face. Seeing this, Leng Ruoxue could only pat its head as if she was coaxing a little pet. This time, the Fire Yu protested, "Detestable. Don't touch me like you're touching a dog, okay? Ah. I'm used to it." Leng Ruoxue smiled a little awkwardly, but there wasn't much apology on her beautiful face. Hu Yu could only sigh helplessly when he saw this. All right. It could only treat him as a human who loved beasts. However, it had lived for so long and was still treated like a small beast. This kind of thing was really quite novel to it. However, despite the novelty, the proper business was more important. After that, Hu Yu's expression turned serious and he requested, "Please come with me to save the clan leader." "You lead the way." Leng Ruoxue let out a soft sigh. Even though this Qilin wasn't very reliable at times, at least it didn't forget the proper business. The Fire Yu nodded and used its claws to cast a few spells. Leng Ruoxue watched as the mountain walls around her split in the middle and a huge cave appeared in front of her. Nodding at Leng Ruoxue, Hu Yu walked in front and led the way. Leng Ruoxue followed closely behind while observing her surroundings. The formation outside the cave must have been set up by Shui Mo. Although it looked simple, there was a secret behind it. If they didn't know the way to activate the formation, they would be in deep trouble. And in such an important place, there definitely wouldn't be many people who knew the magic art. Otherwise, the Qilin clan leader wouldn't be able to stop. Thanks. Leng Ruoxue's thoughts ran wild as she followed Hu Yu into the dimly lit cave. She did not know how long she had walked, but her eyes suddenly lit up. At this moment, she had been brought to a door that looked like a secret room by Fire Yu. However, the temperature outside the secret chamber was unusually low, as if they were in an ice cellar. It was only when Huiyu opened the door in front of Leng Ruoxue that she was sure that this was really an ice cellar. It was a world of ice and snow inside. It was a vast expanse of white everywhere. The temperature here could no longer be described as low. Leng Ruoxue shuddered and couldn't help but lean closer to Huiyu's furry and warm body to keep herself warm. Who knew that Huiyu would just turn around and look at her indifferently? He then reminded her with a serious face, "Miss Leng, I'm a Kirin that already has a master. You can't take advantage of me, do you understand?" Upon hearing this, Leng Ruoxue was instantly flustered. She couldn't help but kick Huiyu's butt and roar, "Who took advantage of you? If it wasn't for the cold here, I wouldn't have come near you." Leng Ruoxue was furious. No wonder Feng Yi was so stupid. It was because the upper beam was not straight, the lower beam was crooked. She had finally found the root of the problem today. When she first saw the Fire Yu, how could she have thought that this guy was a normal Qilin? Oh my god. At this moment, Leng Ruoxue was really regretful. From the way it reacted when it saw the 2 reincarnation pills, she should have known that Fire Yu was an abnormal fellow. It was rare that the Qilin clan had not been led too badly under its leadership. At least, there were still normal Qilin in the Qilin clan. Hee. I'm just teasing you. Seeing that Leng Ruoxue seemed to be a little angry, Huiyu smiled awkwardly and said, "In fact, it just wanted to ease the tense atmosphere." Are you kidding me? Leng Ruoxue was even angrier when she heard these 3 words. Did she look that funny? Or was she someone that anyone could tease? The last person who dared to tease me is now in the 9 Nether prison. Leng Ruoxue put on a stern face and pretended to be serious. Ah. I was just joking, you don't have to curse me like this, do you? Huiyu was very worried. Was the 9 Nether prison a good place to go? I'm not joking. Leng Ruoxue's words were unusually serious. She held back her laughter and said, "You probably don't know the identity of my man, do you?" Ah. What is his identity? Huiyu was very cooperative and asked curiously. It had heard that Leng Ruoxue had a fiancé by her side. However, Leng Ruoxue shouldn't have brought that person along with her to the Qilin clan, right? You know the Dark Lord of the 9 Nether prison, right? Leng Ruoxue said with a smile, but she couldn't help but think to herself, so this is what it feels like to have a backer. Oh. Scaring a Kirin shouldn't be a crime, right? Who asked this Kirin to tease her just now? Now, of course, she had to get back at him. Who asked her to take revenge? Your man is the master of the dark world. After hearing Leng Ruoxue's words, Huiyu revealed a constipated expression and couldn't help but ask. It was undeniable that Leng Ruoxue's answer had stunned it. It wasn't that he didn't want to believe Leng Ruoxue's words, but the truth was too shocking. One must know that the mistress of the dark world was the ruler of the 9 Nether prison while Leng Ruoxue was in the god world. How did the 2 of them get together? Was this possible? It was a little skeptical, but Fire Yu, who thought that it did not show any suspicion on its face, could not possibly hide it from Leng Ruoxue. Green Vessel, the little secret agent, had already reported the Qilin's thoughts to Leng Ruoxue. However, Leng Ruoxue did not get angry. Instead, she smiled and explained, "That's right. Otherwise, do you think that I would still be unscathed despite the fact that Fog has repeatedly found trouble with me?" Ugh. No wonder. At this moment, it was impossible for Huiyu to have any more suspicions, because what Leng Ruoxue said was the truth. If she didn't have some powerful means of self-protection, she wouldn't be alive and kicking now. She was afraid that the mist ripple would have dealt with her long ago. Chapter 2759, An Outrageous Request, 2, Hee. I'm sorry, I didn't know that Miss Leng had such a powerful backer, but if you want to be with the mistress of the dark world, I'm afraid it won't be that easy, right? The Fire Yu was flexible. Although it was a little frightened at the beginning, it quickly calmed down and continued to inquire about information. However, Leng Ruoxue naturally wouldn't let it have its way. She didn't expect this Qilin to be so gossipy, so she only said indifferently, "This has nothing to do with you, Fire Guangdong. However, if there's another chance, I'd be happy to take you on a tour of the 9 Nether prison this afternoon. What do you think?" Ugh. It didn't want to go. Also, what did he mean by another chance? Could they have been there? Seeing through Hui Yu's thoughts, Leng Ruoxua kindly answered, "Just as you thought, we've already been there." This time, it was Fire Guangdong's turn to be confused. Fuck. How did this girl know what it was thinking? After the Fire Yu was done messing around, it started to feel horrified again. At this moment, it heard Leng Ruoxua say with a smile, "Calm down, I can read minds." What was Qing Ju's was hers, so Leng Ruoxua did not have any qualms when she said this. However, Hui Yu's expression was extremely ugly. Fuck. The truth was actually like this. Was this still beastly? At this moment, Hui Yu wished he could just smash his head into the ice and kill himself. Of course, it was only thinking about it and had no intention of actually putting it into action. However, its ugly expression was enough to make Leng Ruoxua smile. Leng Ruoxua saw that she had dealt enough of a blow, so she kindly reminded, "Your Excellency Fire Yu, are we still going to save the people?" "Save him. Hurry up and run." When Hui Yu heard Leng Ruoxua's words, it suddenly reacted. He had almost delayed his official business. This was really too much. After that, it brought Leng Ruoxua through the layers of ice and finally, they arrived at the center of the ice room. Then, it pointed at a huge block of ice with its huge claws and said, "The clan leader is inside." Inside? Leng Ruoxua was speechless. Although the entire block of ice was white, it was not transparent. Therefore, if one observed from the outside, one would not be able to see the situation inside at all. There was no way to confirm whether the Qilin clan's patriarch was really here. Furthermore, this ice block was a little too big. Leng Ruoxua truly felt that she, who was standing at the tip of the iceberg, was so small and unremarkable. In an instant, she felt a sense of inferiority. Hui Yu's next words made Leng Ruoxua confused again. Because Hui Yu said to her with a serious face, "Miss Leng, we have to get rid of this ice." "Open it?" You do it." Leng Ruoxua replied rudely. She did not even want to think about the meaning behind Hui Yu's words. Her instincts told her that the other party wanted to use her as a coolie. Thanks, it had to be said that Leng Ruoxua was right. Fire Yu's intention was indeed to get Leng Ruoxua to help him. Hence, when he saw Leng Ruoxua asking him to come over calmly, Fire Yu's heart was in a deep dilemma. He said shamelessly, "Miss Leng, I can't open this ice block by myself. You have to help me." "How can I help?" "I can help you if you want to roast it with fire," Leng Ruoxua said calmly. "Ah. You can't use fire, you'll hurt the chief." Fire Yu hurriedly stopped her. If it was possible to use fire, it wouldn't need to ask Leng Ruoxua for help. "Then how do you want me to help you?" Leng Ruoxua was speechless. Could it be that this fellow wanted her to help him break the ice? "Clan leader Hui Yu, look at my small body, and then look at yours. Do you really think I can help you?" Leng Ruoxua asked after some thought. "It can be done. As long as you're willing to," Hui Yu suddenly said shyly. "Then tell me, how do you want me to help?" Leng Ruoxua asked curiously. "We just need to use our body temperature to slowly melt the ice." Hui Yu told her the method, and Leng Ruoxua's face turned black immediately. "You bastard! What kind of method was this?" The other party was the Qilin clan's clan leader, not her clan's old ancestor. On what basis did she have to sacrifice herself? At this moment, Leng Ruoxua was completely certain that Hui Yu's head had been kicked by the ball. Otherwise, why would it have such a strange thought? Seeing that Leng Ruoxua seemed to be a little unhappy, Hui Yu laughed awkwardly and added, "This is very easy. If we work together, it will be very fast, and we won't hurt the patriarch's body. Can you help me?" "Help you, my ass." Leng Ruoxue was so angry that she wanted to curse. Did this stinky Qilin really think that she was a coolie? And that it would be faster if the two of them worked together? Why didn't it look for the Qilin to work together? Wouldn't that be faster? With that thought in mind, Leng Ruoxue simply said with a cold expression, "Your Excellency Fire Guangdong, I'm only here to save your family head with the reincarnation pill. If you haven't done the preparatory work well, don't waste everyone's time. Besides, I'm not so great that I'll sacrifice myself for others. Of course, if you really want my help, I can only use fire." After she finished speaking, Leng Ruoxue even deliberately flashed out her small flame and prepared to burn the huge ice block. When Huiyu saw this, he was so frightened that his heart was trembling. He quickly stopped her. "Miss Leng, your words are too serious. I'm not asking you to sacrifice yourself. I just want to use your body temperature to melt this block of ice. This won't take much effort, really. I guarantee that you won't be in any danger. Please don't use fire. You'll hurt the chief. Melt this ice. Rest for a few days. It won't take much effort. There's no danger." Leng Ruoxue repeated her question as her expression turned uglier by the second. However, Huiyu did not feel that there was anything wrong with Leng Ruoxue's tone. Instead, he nodded vigorously and said, "Yes, yes. I promise there's no danger. This is as easy as lifting a finger for you. How about it? Can you help me? Help your sister?" Leng Ruoxue finally couldn't help but curse. After that, she was so angry that she kicked Huiyu's butt again. This time, she used more force and sent him flying. He crashed into a huge ice block. How detestable. This was really too despicable. Did he think she was a silly boy? No, it was the silly girl. Was she that easy to deceive? Leng Ruoxue was enraged. The consequences would be severe. After kicking the fire yu away, she did not even bother to look at it. She directly turned around and walked out of the ice room. Then, she left alone. Not long after she left, the fire yu slowly slid down from the ice block that was stuck to it. As soon as it turned around, it immediately hugged the ice block behind it and cried, "Clan leader, did it hurt you? I didn't do it on purpose." That woman was too rough. Huiyu hugged the ice block and complained endlessly. Leng Ruoxue, who had left the ice room, searched for a long time like a headless fly before she finally found the way back to her residence. It was almost evening. Chapter 2760, An Outrageous Request, 3. When Uncle Long and the others saw Leng Ruoxue, they thought that she had already completed her task and that the Qilin clan leader had been rescued. Who knew that Leng Ruoxue wouldn't say a word after entering the living room? It was obvious that she wasn't in a good mood. "Shuer, how's the situation?" After a long time, Master Ning could no longer hold back his curiosity and asked. "No progress." Leng Ruoxue was finally willing to talk to someone, and Uncle Long and the others were very pleased. However, what did it mean that there was no progress? Didn't that fearsome reincarnation pill say that they had a way to save the Qilin clan leader? Could it be that he had been injured for too long? Can't be cured? Everyone's imagination ran wild as they looked at Leng Ruoxue in unison. Their faces were filled with question marks. Seeing this, Leng Ruoxue was helpless and could only explain simply, "I didn't see the Qilin clan leader at all. I only saw a huge block of ice." Ah! What was the meaning of this? Ice? Uncle Long's face was filled with even more questions. The Qilin clan leader was sealed in an ice block. Huiyu asked me to help him get out, but I refused. So, I came back alone. Leng Ruoxue said through gritted teeth. When everyone saw her resentful look, they knew in their hearts that something had happened. "Shuer, since Huiyu asked you to help, you should help. It's easy to melt ice with your flame anyway." Jiang Ning asked carefully. He was simply too curious, but Leng Ruoxue had not been clear about what she was saying. He had no choice but to slowly probe and find out the truth that they wanted to know. Who knew that after Leng Ruoxua heard his words, the expression on her face became even more conflicted. The resentment in her tone also deepened as she said, "If I could use fire to roast it, would I still need to be so angry that I came back?" "Ah. Then what will you use to save it?" After learning a bit more, the curiosity on everyone's faces grew. Body temperature. Leng Ruoxua gritted her teeth and spat out these two words. Body temperature. Everyone was horrified. No wonder Shuai was angry. Hu Yu's request was really too much. Shuai was not a member of the Qilin clan at all, and she had done them a favor, so how could the fire you be so insatiable? This was really enough to make them speechless. Shuai, isn't the fire you angry that you came back like this? Uncle Long asked, thinking about Hu Yu's reaction. I don't know. I kicked it away before I left. I guess it's holding the ice and crying now. Leng Ruoxua guessed. She had to admit that she was right again. Ah. Good job, but what should we do now? Are you leaving or staying? Uncle Long was conflicted. If he left, how would he deal with his relationship with the Qilin clan? However, if he didn't leave, Shuai's anger would obviously not subside for a while. AI. He was really in a difficult position. Stay. I still want to see what Hu Yu is going to do next. Leng Ruoxua said very calmly. Although she was very angry with Hu Yu, she could tell the severity of the matter. Naturally, she wouldn't leave so easily. Leng Ruoxua's words made Uncle Long and the others understand instantly. Shuai was not planning to give Hu Yu any face. And the truth was, not only did Leng Ruoxua not give Hu Yu any face, she even despised Feng Yi who had been staying with them. Feng Yi, who had been chased out of their residence, was like a poor and helpless child. He guarded Leng Ruoxua and the others outside the courtyard and wailed. Sob. He felt so wronged. He wasn't the one who started this, so why did he have to vent his anger on him? Although Leng Ruoxua and the rest turned a blind eye to Feng Yi's cries of pain, it still attracted the attention of many members of the Qilin clan. Bing Yun had also come. When she saw Feng Yi hugging a big tree outside the courtyard and sobbing without any care for his image, Bing Yun's face darkened. What was this guy doing? Thanks, Feng Yi, enough. Don't you think it's embarrassing enough? Seeing Feng Yi cry without end, Bing Yun angrily rebuked. However, Feng Yi clearly did not care about his reputation. Facing the crowd, he remained calm and replied fiercely, I've been abandoned and chased out, so why can't I cry? Don't tell me that you've never secretly cried before. Back then, when you were heartbroken, you cried a lot too. What right do you have to despise me for being embarrassing? Besides, the person I lost was my own person, it's none of your business. Bing Yun trembled with anger at Feng Yi's words. It's fine if you embarrass yourself, but why bring up his past? Feeling that the surrounding clansmen seemed to be pointing at him, Bing Yun retreated and was too lazy to care about Feng Yi's matter. He just snorted coldly and turned to leave. After Bing Yun left, Feng Yi became even more unscrupulous, and no one could control him. After crying for a long time, the elders of the clan who had been waiting for the good news of the fire you all arrived together. After clarifying the situation, the elders were all depressed. So it was the acting clan leader who did this? More importantly, why didn't the guards report to them about Leng Ruoxua's return? The elders immediately had an emergency discussion and finally decided to meet Leng Ruoxua personally. As for what they should say when they saw Leng Ruoxua, they were not sure now. AI. He had to see how angry Leng Ruoxua was, right? Right now, no matter who they offended, they would not dare to offend Leng Ruoxua. After all, there was no one who could command the samsara pill. However, the moment they thought of the reason why Leng Ruoxua was angry, they could not help but secretly blame the acting clan head, who would occasionally be silly. Wasn't it just looking for trouble? You want me to help you melt the ice? Why would they help? This was originally the Qilin clan's matter. They should be very grateful that he was willing to help cure the clan leader. They really should not have any additional requests. Too much. He was really too much. Many of the Qilin elders felt that the acting clan head was acting a little out of line. Hence, the first thing they did after meeting Leng Ruoxue was to apologize to her. However, Leng Ruoxue was obviously still in a fit of anger. She asked indifferently, "Why are the elders apologizing to me? Has your Qilin clan done anything to let me down?" "Ah. We're here to apologize on behalf of the clan leader for his reckless behavior. He really shouldn't have such an excessive request of Miss Leng." The Qilin race's Grand Elder spoke on behalf of the other elders. Unfortunately, Leng Ruoxue did not accept the elders' apologies and said, "This is not the elders' fault, so it's not your turn to apologize." When the elders heard this, they all knew that the other party was asking for the substitute clan leader to come personally. The acting clan leader has not returned yet. When he returns, he will definitely come and apologize to Miss Leng personally. The Qilin Great Elder quickly declared. Actually, from the fire use point of view, it's understandable for it to ask me to make a sacrifice. After all, in your hearts, your chief is the supreme and irreplaceable one. But please remember, I'm not from the Qilin clan, and it's not my duty to save your chief. I'm only willing to refine the reincarnation pill for you because I see it as a hero. So, please don't take my actions for granted. You don't have the capital to do that. After the great elder of the Qilin clan had expressed his stance, Leng Ruoxue did not show her usual courteousness to express her satisfaction. Instead, she reminded the great elder of the Qilin clan with an angry expression. When the Qilin great elder heard Leng Ruoxue's words, he was also rather surprised. He had already lowered his voice, so why did the other party become even more unyielding? This was definitely not the Leng Ruoxue he knew before. Or could it be that this was Leng Ruoxue's true face? The friendliness and gentleness that the other party had shown earlier was actually to give face to the Qilin race? After thinking about it this way, he suddenly recalled the rumors about Leng Ruoxue in the outside world. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that Leng Ruoxue might have given them too much face, to the point that they felt that Leng Ruoxue did not live up to the rumors. Now that Leng Ruoxue had revealed her domineering aura, the Qilin Great Elder was immediately alarmed. It seemed like the rumors outside were true. Leng Ruoxue truly couldn't be provoked. Look, didn't something happen? He was no longer as polite to the Qilin clan as before. AI. This Ma Feng's nest was obviously stabbed by the acting chief, but he probably couldn't clean it up. After leaving Leng Ruoxue and the rest's residence resentfully, the elders did not dare to delay and went to look for Huiyu. After they left, Uncle Long and the rest stared at Leng Ruoxue without saying a word. "Uncle Long, if you have anything to say, just say it," Leng Ruoxue said helplessly when she felt the puzzled gazes of Uncle Long and the others. "Shuer, you're the one who asked me to say it." Uncle Long sighed and continued, "The Qilin race is different from the Dragon race, Phoenix race and White Tiger race. We can use more brutal means to deal with those three races, but to the Qilin race, shouldn't we do the same thing as before?" Leng Ruoxue understood what Uncle Long meant by like before, but she didn't want to be polite to the Qilin clan anymore. At the same time, she also believed that not all Qilin were like Huiyu, who thought that it was only right for them to do anything for their most respected clan leader. Of course, if the entire Qilin race thought this way, then she could only say that she had misjudged the beast. However, the Qilin clan's head elder, who she had little contact with, was clearly a reasonable beast. Otherwise, he wouldn't have specially come to apologize to her. In addition, she had a hard time being polite in the Qilin clan, so now she had to face these Qilin with her true appearance. She wanted to let these Qilins know that she was arrogant and proud. Her status wasn't any lower than the Qilin of the four supreme god kings. In fact, from a certain perspective, her status was even higher than them. She was being polite to them because she was giving them face. Now, she took back her face. He didn't want to give it anymore. In case some Qilin didn't understand. Chapter 2761, Haven't you seen a handsome guy before? 1. With this thought in mind, Leng Ruoxue calmly said to Uncle Long and the others, Uncle Long, have you ever thought about what kind of misconception we'll give the Qilin clan if we keep being polite to them? You're saying that they might think that we need something from it. Uncle Long said after thinking carefully. We should be standing on an equal basis when interacting with others. However, in the hearts of the Qilin clan, our positions should not be equal. After all, they have long been deeply rooted in the divine realm while we are the new forces of the divine realm. Although we never thought that our status was lower than the Qilin race, if we continue to be polite to them, perhaps the Qilin will have such thoughts in their hearts. So, what we need to do now is to show our strength at the right time so that all the Qilin will face our existence. Leng Ruoxue replied honestly. When the few people present heard Leng Ruoxue's words, they could not help but fall into deep thought. It had to be said that Shui Er's words were very reasonable. There was no problem with being polite to the Qilin clan for a while. However, as time passed, more problems would arise. They wanted to have a long-term relationship with the Qilin clan. In this case, they had to stand on equal footing with the Qilin clan in order to have a long-term and fair relationship. Otherwise, problems would arise sooner or later. This was obviously not what they wanted to see. After some deep thought, Uncle Long and the others nodded in agreement with Leng Ruoxue's strategy. They weren't easy to bully, so what if the Qilin race had many hierarch experts? They had quite a few reverent god-level cultivators on their side. Furthermore, they still had Shui Er's unrivaled flames. They believed that no Qilin would be able to withstand Shui Er's flames. After making a quick decision, Leng Ruoxue's anger dissipated by half. Late at night, they all went back to their rooms to rest. At the same time, the elders of the Qilin clan, led by the first elder of the Qilin clan, also found the ice room. They entered the ice room and came to the place where the clan leader was sleeping. They saw Huiyu holding a big ice block and crying so sadly that even the fur on his chin had turned into icicles. The Qilin great elder was speechless. He stepped forward and grabbed Huiyu, then roared fiercely, "Damn it! What are you crying for? Do you know how much trouble you've caused? What about me? I'm being bullied, can't I cry?" Huiyu felt very wronged. The great elder had never shouted at him so fiercely before. Sob. It was so sad. You were bullied by Leng Ruoxue. The Qilin great elder was exasperated. It was clearly the one who had angered that girl, all right? Now, he actually felt that he was being bullied. What kind of logic was this? The Qilin great elder felt like he was going crazy. How could this guy be so stupid at such a critical moment? What an intolerable mistake. If it hadn't suddenly turned stupid, the clan leader would have been rescued and woken up by now. At the thought of this, the Qilin great elder felt that the acting clan leader in front of him was beyond saving. One had to know that most of the time, their acting clan leader was quite normal. It was just that when it came to matters involving the clan leader, the acting clan leader would turn from normal to abnormal. If not, why would he have driven Leng Ruoxue away in anger? But now, he was in big trouble. For a moment, the great elder of the Qilin clan had a headache and didn't know where to start. Let's go. Come with me to see Leng Ruoxue. You have to apologize to her personally. The first elder of the Qilin clan did not want to waste his breath on Fireyu. He pulled Fireyu over and said straightforwardly. I'm not going. Why should I apologize to her? I'm the victim here, okay? The aggrieved expression on Huiyu's face became even more apparent. Thanks when the Qilin first elder heard this, he was so angry that he almost fainted. You feel wronged? Why are you feeling wronged? You've already angered Leng Ruoxue, yet you're still acting like you've been wronged. The first elder of the Qilin clan was speechless. He glared at Huiyu with a look of disappointment. The other elders also stared at Huiyu with an unsightly expression. At this moment, Huiyu finally noticed that something was wrong and asked carefully, First elder, you're saying that I've angered Leng Ruoxue? I should be the one getting angry, right? I was kicked by her, and my butt still hurts. You deserve the pain in your butt. How could you let Leng Ruoxue use her body heat to help you melt the ice that was surrounding the clan leader? Did water get into your brain? The Qilin Great Elder roared. Ah! What's the big deal? It's just a matter of raising one's hand. Until now, the fire you still didn't feel that its request was too much. It was still at a loss. You're really out of your mind. Leng Ruoxue was a human. Do you understand, human? The first elder of the Qilin clan continued to roar. I know. Huiyu nodded honestly. If you know, why do you still want her to help? Do you want to kill her? Do you think she'll be fine after a few days of rest with our strong bodies? The more the Qilin Great Elder thought about it, the angrier he got. In the end, he simply pulled Huiyu's ear and shouted. Ah! I didn't think so much, I just thought that since she's here, it's only right for her to help. I really didn't mean it. After hearing what the Qilin Great Elder had to say, the Fire You finally realized how stupid it had been. It had only thought about saving the clan leader and had completely forgotten that Leng Ruoxue was a human. However, would Leng Ruoxue believe it if it said that it had forgotten? This was clearly a problem. Thinking of this, Huiyu immediately said with a bitter face, so that's why she kicked me. I thought she suddenly went crazy. You're the one who suddenly went crazy. You're the one who's crazy. The first elder of the Qilin family was so angry that he started to punch and kick the Fire You. However, the Fire You, who knew that it was in the wrong, didn't dare to fight back. It was only when the first elder was tired that he let it go. However, the great elder Qilin was tired from the beating. After he stopped, he gave the other elders a look. The next moment, all the elders swarmed forward and ruthlessly beat up the Fire You. Huiyu was the acting clan leader and had great power. However, if it made a mistake, the elders, led by the first elder, had the right to teach it a lesson, but the Fire You could only accept it. This was the rule set by the clan leader before he fell asleep. It had always regarded the clan leader's words as an imperial edict, so it absolutely did not dare to violate it. By the time the elders had finished beating him up and stopped, Huiyu's entire body had been beaten blue and purple. His original majestic and mighty Qilin appearance could no longer be seen. The fur on his body was all stuck together, and he looked extremely embarrassed. However, after being beaten up, Huiyu miraculously felt at ease. Because this meant that the elders would no longer be angry because of this, but the elders still didn't have a good expression on their faces. Looking at the elders with hidden bitterness, Huiyu asked carefully, "What do we do now? Is that little human girl really angry? If we weren't angry, would we have come to you? You've completely angered her, do you know that?" The first elder of the Qilin clan was so angry that he roared again. Fire You shuddered and said in a soft voice, "I didn't say anything that was too much. Leng Ruoxue sure is petty." Chapter 2762, Haven't you seen a handsome guy before? 2. It was very sad. Humans were really unfriendly and difficult to get along with. What else do you want to say? When he heard Huiyu's unapologetic words, the great elder of the Qilin clan really wanted to kick him. At this moment, he could definitely empathize with her and knew how furious Leng Ruoxue was. Then, without saying a word, he lifted Huiyu's neck and shouted, "Follow me," and apologized to Leng Ruoxue. "If you can't coax her, you'll get it." Ah! Upon hearing this, Fire You was completely worried. It felt that the great elder was too good at helping outsiders. After all, it was the acting patriarch of the Qilin clan. How could he lower himself to apologize to humans? This was really damaging to the reputation of the Qilin clan. Therefore, it was quite unhappy. However, the great elder of the Qilin clan didn't care so much. He had obviously seen through Huiyu's thoughts, so he only said indifferently, "Do you still want to cure the clan leader?" "I want to," Huiyu said without hesitation. "Then why are you still talking? Why aren't you following me to apologize to Leng Ruoxue? Of course, if you can control the 2 reincarnation pills, I have no objections if you don't apologize." The first elder of the Qilin clan said calmly. "I'll go." Upon hearing this, Fire Yu immediately became excited. Although it was a little embarrassing to apologize to a human, curing the clan leader was obviously more important, so it couldn't care about anything else. It was just an apology. What's the big deal? Fire Yu had a good plan. It thought that it would be forgiven as long as it apologized to Leng Ruoxue. After all, it didn't do it on purpose. It just didn't think too much about it. However, when he really went and got the cold shoulder, the Fire Yu suddenly realized that it would not be so easy to apologize. "Wu, what should I do?" After being refused entry for 2 consecutive days, Hui Yu was completely dumbfounded. Things had obviously gone beyond its imagination. This feeling of being out of control made it feel quite unpleasant. The Fire Yu Qilins sat in the meeting hall gloomily, and they could only stare helplessly. After an unknown period of time, an elder finally asked carefully, acting patriarch, "First elder, what should we do about this? I didn't expect that girl wouldn't even want to see us now." Sigh. The one who provoked her was obviously the acting chief, why would he vent his anger on us? The elder who spoke felt a little wronged. One had to know that he had been getting along well with Uncle Long and the others a few days ago. Who knew that after the acting clan leader had angered Leng Ruoxue, they were also not well received? Previously, it was Feng Yi, and now it was their turn. The feeling of being neglected really made them uncomfortable. Moreover, this was the territory of the Qilin clan, which made them even more depressed. When the Fire Yu heard the elder's complaint, it didn't dare to defend itself, except for showing a resentful and wronged expression. It was because the elders now had a lot of opinions about it. "Wu. If you can't do it, then go and ask the ancestor to come out," the Qilin Great Elder said after helplessly thinking for a long time. The ancestor he was referring to was Shui Mo, who had a good relationship with Leng Ruoxue. However, ever since Shui Mo found out that they had invited Leng Ruoxue back with ulterior motives, Shui Mo had started to despise them. Thanks they didn't dare to see Shui Mo, but the situation was critical and they had to ask for help from their ancestor. After the decision was made, First Elder Qi Lin dragged Hui Yu, who was too scared to go, and the other elders to Shui Mo's place. Miraculously, they were not rejected. However, after they were invited into the room, Shui Mo glanced at Hui Yu and the others without saying a word. Instantly, Hui Yu and the others felt their hearts pounding. Old ancestor." The Fire Yu called out carefully. It was so nervous that it stuttered a little. "Are you people not visiting me for no reason?" Shui Mo grinned and said. Even though he had not stepped out of the house for the past few days, he had heard about how the Fire Yu had angered Leng Ruoxue. However, he was very calm and did not rush out to plead with Leng Ruoxue because he wanted to see what these little fellows from the Qilin clan would do. As for when he would be able to save the clan leader, he was not in a hurry. Even though he had not spent a long time with Leng Ruoxue, he was clear that this little lass was a loyal person. Since she had already refined the reincarnation pill, she would naturally not leave her in the lurch. However, the duration could be long or short. Everything would depend on the Qilin race's decision. After thinking this through, Shui Mo naturally wanted to see how Fire Yu and the others would perform. But now, he was obviously not satisfied with their performance. "Old ancestor, I've offended Leng Ruoxue by accident. Please help me." Seeing that his ancestor seemed to know everything, Hui Yu didn't feel that it was difficult to say what he wanted to say. "How do you want me to help you?" Shui Mo's smile remained calm. "Old ancestor, please help me plead with Leng Ruoxue. Clan leader can't not save me." Hui Yu sobbed. "That little lass Leng Ruoxue, did she say that she wants save clan head?" Shui Mo couldn't help asking. "Ah. She didn't, but she didn't say anything about saving her." Hui Yu explained. "You didn't say you'll save her, but that doesn't mean you want save her, you know? They're clearly looking at your performance now. So, I can't help you with this." Shui Mo refused. If he really helped to plead for her, that little girl might be even angrier. He didn't want Leng Ruoxue to think that he was using their friendship as a bargaining chip. In reality, he had always thought that he and Leng Ruoxue were old friends, especially when their research on formations was so in tune. Hence, he really didn't want his relationship with Leng Ruoxue to be mixed with other things. More importantly, it was indeed Huiyu's fault. With that little girl's vengeful character, she would not forgive Huiyu so easily. As for Huiyu, she would be depressed in the future. Shui Imo glanced at Huiyu with sympathy and said indifferently, "If you want to be forgiven, show some sincerity. Leng Ruoxue, that little girl, is definitely not an unreasonable person. Do you understand what I mean?" I understand." Huiyu wanted to cry but had no tears. In fact, it did not think that Leng Ruoxue was reasonable at all. Instead, it had deeply experienced how difficult it was to deal with Leng Ruoxue. It was just a small matter. They were tormented like this. AI. Good luck. Shui Imo looked at the fire Yu and knew that it didn't realize its mistake. Therefore, he didn't bother to say anything else. With a wave of his hand, Huiyu and the others in the room were swept out of the room by the wind from his palm. Huiyu and the others who had been kicked out of the house fell to the empty ground in the courtyard. Each of them looked a little depressed, but they soon calmed down. This was the old ancestor's usual method. Especially when the old ancestor was getting impatient. With heavy depression, Huiyu and the others returned to the meeting hall listlessly. Chapter 2763, Haven't you seen a handsome guy before? 3. After further discussion, they finally came up with a detailed plan and decided to take down Leng Ruoxue and the others one by one. However, the difficulty now was that the people in the courtyard did not even step out of the house and refused to see them. If they forced their way in, they were afraid that they would offend the people in the courtyard even more. AI. What should he do? After thinking for a long time, everyone decided to wait for the rabbit. Their actions had naturally been reported in detail to Leng Ruoxue and the others by the 2 reincarnation pills who were responsible for passing on the message. After knowing the other party's plan, Leng Ruoxue was very calm. On the other hand, Uncle Long and the others were rather depressed. The other party had angered Shuer, so there was no point in guarding them, right? It was impossible for them to help an outsider. After all, they and Shuer were in the same country. This time, they didn't want to leave their residence even more. The reincarnation pill seemed to have read their minds, so it became even more responsible for guarding the place. Mang Tian, the elder who was in charge of monitoring Leng Ruoxue and the others, looked at the 2 reincarnation pills that were swaying randomly not far away from him. He really wanted to rush forward and snatch them away. However, none of the elders dared to do so because they knew that it was useless even if they obtained the 2 reincarnation pills. The other party did not even care about them. This fact also made the elders very worried. A week later, Shui Imo, who had been paying attention to them, felt a headache when he saw that the elders had made no progress. How could these guys be so useless? He couldn't even handle a little human girl. In the end, Shui Imo decided to do it himself. Of course, he wasn't trying to persuade Huiyu. He just wanted to see if Leng Ruoxue had disappeared as well. The facts had proven that Leng Ruoxue was still giving him face and did not reject him at the door. After being released by the 2 reincarnation pills, Shui Imo couldn't help but stare at them for a long time. At this moment, he heard a slightly darker reincarnation elixir fire roar. What are you looking at? Have you never seen a handsome guy before? Shui Imo was speechless. It wasn't that she had never seen a handsome guy before, but she had never seen a pill that called itself a handsome guy. At this moment, he suddenly understood Huiyu and the others' love and hate for the 2 reincarnation pills. Then, he collected his thoughts and calmly walked to the living room. The elder who was guarding outside the courtyard saw that the old grand madam had made a move, and his heart that had been in his throat finally relaxed. After Shui Imo entered the living room, he greeted Uncle Long and the others before looking at Leng Ruoxue and said with a smile, "Little girl, it's really hard to get in here." "Senior Shui Imo, are you blaming me for rejecting you in the territory of the Qilin race? Leng Ruoxue laughed as well and replied with a fiery tone. Ugh! What a big temper! Hearing this, Shui Mo smiled bitterly in his heart helplessly. He still smiled and said, little girl, that's not what I meant. Huiyu provoked you, so you don't have to vent your anger on me, right? I don't think I've offended you. That's why I didn't reject Senior Shui Mo. Leng Ruoxue replied with a faint smile. But you've rejected many elders. They shouldn't have provoked you, right? Shui Mo couldn't help but ask. Yes, but they're obviously on Fire Yu's side. They're all trying to plead for him. So, they can only be treated the same way as Fire Yu. Leng Ruoxue said matter-of-factly. Then, aren't you afraid that I'm here to plead for that idiot Huiyu by letting me in? Shui Mo asked with a smile. Yuan-ti. If you wanted to plead for it, you would have come a long time ago. You wouldn't have waited until now. Leng Ruoxue said. Ha ha ha. You know me well. However, I still want you to give me some face. You can just fix the Fire Yu, but can you be magnanimous and let the other elders enter and leave freely? This way, you can also observe their performance, right? Shui Mo suggested. You're right. Leng Ruoxue nodded, giving Shui Mo face. In fact, she didn't intend to make things difficult for the elders for too long. She just wanted them to show their attitude. Now that Shui Mo had said so, she had no reason to be unreasonable. Shui Mo was naturally happy to see Leng Ruoxue giving him so much face. He then dragged Leng Ruoxue to an empty room to study the array. Thanks when the elders who had been granted permission to not be stopped heard this news, it was as if they had been granted a general pardon. Their hearts were filled with excitement. Then, the elders split up and went to find Uncle Long and the others who thought they had a good relationship with each other. Uncle Long naturally did not refuse them, but no matter what the elders said, Uncle Long and the others would not relent and plead for Huiyu. After that, when the elders heard that Leng Ruoxue had been dragged away by the old ancestor to study formations, they were even more depressed. Old ancestor. Why are you studying formations now? Don't tell me you've forgotten that curing the clan leader is our top priority right now. It was obvious that they did not understand Shui Mo's thoughts, let alone Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue and Shui Mo, who had been hiding in their room, seemed to have forgotten everything. This research had taken up a month. Leng Ruoxue and Shui Mo only walked out of the room when Uncle Long and the others were getting impatient. Seeing the joy on Shui Mo's face, Uncle Long and the others knew that Shui Mo's suspicion must have been resolved. Otherwise, he wouldn't be smiling so happily. However, his juniors were obviously ready to jump up and down. After Shui Mo left, Leng Ruoxue asked Uncle Long curiously, how's the Qilin clan's performance recently? They're so good. They'll listen to any of our requests, including the rude requests we make things difficult for them. Uncle Long couldn't help but nod in satisfaction when he thought of the treatment he received this month. Yes, yes. Jiang Ning also nodded his head vigorously. Then, he said with a serious expression, however, they have also tried their best to hook up with our 2 reincarnation pills. The funny thing is, those 2 little guys simply ignored those people. Jiang Ning couldn't help but smile when he said this. One of the reincarnation pills was refined by Shui for the Qilin race. All the ingredients were provided by the Qilin race. The Qilin race even had to pay Shui for it. However, the reincarnation pill that they had refined with great difficulty had its own consciousness. It wasn't under the control of the Qilin race at all. They had definitely suffered a double loss. Was there anyone in this world more miserable than them? When he thought of this, he wanted to light a row of candles for the Qilin race. They were really too pitiful, weren't they? After Leng Ruoxue heard the report, she nodded in satisfaction. It's about time, you can let them go. When they come to find you again, you can just go with the flow. Everyone agreed. If they continued, it wouldn't just be to show their toughness, but to attract hatred. So, it was most important to stop while they were ahead. Just like that, the hard work of the elders of the Qilin clan for a month finally paid off. Of course, at least that was what they thought. When they found out that Uncle Long and the rest had pleaded for mercy on behalf of the clan leader after Leng Ruoxue had finished studying the array, the elders were so touched that they were about to cry. Then, the elders accompanied Huiyu to apologize to Leng Ruoxue sincerely. Leng Ruoxue forgave Huiyu happily, but of course, a beating was inevitable. But from now on, everyone could have fun together again. After everyone was happy, the great elder of the Qilin clan carefully suggested that Leng Ruoxue could bring the reincarnation pills to help the clan leader heal as soon as possible. After hearing this, Leng Ruoxue only glanced at the Fire Yu indifferently and did not say anything. Seeing this, the Qilin great elder immediately declared, "Don't worry, Miss Leng. We'll finish the preliminary work as soon as possible. I'll come to invite you personally. And then I'll be waiting for you, great elder." Leng Ruoxue nodded. Anyway, it was fine as long as she didn't use her body temperature to help. Otherwise, she would definitely remember that unpleasant experience and beat Huiyu up again. As if he could read Leng Ruoxue's mind, Huiyu could not help but shiver. He then quickly lowered his head. After obtaining Leng Ruoxue's promise, the Qilin elder tactfully dragged Huiyu along and left with the rest. If they continued to stay here, the consequences would be unimaginable if their acting clan head, who was always so silly, accidentally offended Leng Ruoxue. 3 days later, the great elder of the Qilin clan, who had prepared everything, came to invite Leng Ruoxue personally. After bringing Leng Ruoxue back to the ice room, the ice that Leng Ruoxue had seen previously had disappeared. All she could see was a huge ice bed. On the bed was an ice-blue Qilin that was as large as a mountain. He looked a little familiar. However, the Qilin's original form looked similar, only their colors were different. Hence, Leng Ruoxue assumed that she had seen a Qilin with a different attribute and didn't think much about it. But this was the patriarch of the Qilin race? Leng Ruoxue looked at the great elder of the Qilin clan with a heart full of questions. The first elder of the Qilin clan nodded with a worried expression. "This is our clan leader. Tens of thousands of years ago, he was seriously injured and has been in a coma since." With that, the great elder of the Qilin clan bowed deeply towards Leng Ruoxue and said seriously, "Young Miss Leng, our Qilin clan will never forget the great kindness you have shown us. Please forgive me if I've been disrespectful to you before. Great elder, you're being too serious. Although the Fire Yu seem to have changed into a different person after that, I'm afraid that I would have left the Qilin clan long ago if I had really been calculative with it. So please believe me, I also want to save your clan leader. However, you seem to have thanked the wrong person for curing your clan leader." Leng Ruoxue teased with a smile after hearing First Elder's words. "Hee hee. I have to thank you for these 2 reincarnation pills, but Miss Leng, we have to thank you even more. If it wasn't for you, no one would be able to refine reincarnation pills now. Therefore, in the end, you are the greatest benefactor of our Qilin clan." The first elder of the Qilin clan glanced gratefully at the 2 purplish gold reincarnation pills that were revolving around Leng Ruoxue. Chapter 2764, I'm not made of paper. 1. Other than being truly grateful to Leng Ruoxue for refining the reincarnation pill, the first elder of the Qilin clan also wanted to flatter her. Who asked her to be an amazing alchemist in their hearts? While he was sucking up to her, he was also paying attention to the reaction of the 2 reincarnation pills. When he saw that the 2 of them did not protest and were even leisurely circling around Leng Ruoxue, his heart was set. He started to use pleasant words as if they were free of charge. It was only when Leng Ruoxue could no longer bear to listen to these compliments and changed the topic at the right time that the Qilin great elder gave up with an embarrassed look. After that, Leng Ruoxue greeted the 2 reincarnation pills. Then, as per the request of the reincarnation pills, she left the ice room with the first elder. At first, the Qilin great elder didn't want to leave. He was very curious about how the reincarnation pill would cure the clan leader. Unfortunately, the two reincarnation pills seemed to go on strike in the presence of outsiders, so the Great Elder had no choice but to obediently leave. As soon as they left, the two reincarnation pills began to work. If Len Ruoxue was here, she would have noticed the changes in the reincarnation pill. The two reincarnation pills began to spin at high speed, like two streams of light dancing around the huge ice-blue qilin, and starlight fell on the ice-blue qilin. As soon as the starlight touched the qilin's body, it immediately disappeared into it as if it had never been there. Soon, the room returned to its usual calm. Then, the same situation repeated itself. 3 days later. When Len Ruoxue returned to the ice room, she realized that First Elder and the other qilin who had not returned with her were still dutifully guarding the ice room. The moment they saw her, they immediately surrounded her and looked at her with a face full of resentment. The qilin Grand Elder couldn't help but ask on behalf of the other qilin, "Young Lady Leng, it's already been 3 days. Why hasn't the clan leader recovered yet?" "Great Elder, I think the qilin clan's patriarch's injuries are too serious, so he needs more time. You don't have to worry too much. Since the reincarnation pill refined by my master said that it can cure your patriarch, you should believe it. Otherwise, if it knows, it will be unhappy." Len Ruoxue consoled. In fact, her words were already very subtle. If it were someone else, she might have said it directly. What was the rush? You guys don't have any other way anyway, so you can only try it as a last resort. But now that she was facing so many worried and conflicted qilin race elders, she could only tactfully express her thoughts. However, the qilin Great Elder also understood her meaning. Therefore, the First Elder quickly appeased the other qilin elders, and everyone waited patiently. Who knew that this wait would last for a month? In this 1 month, the elders of the qilin clan had wanted to ask Len Ruoxue for help to go in and take a look countless times. However, they were all suppressed by the Great Elder. Since the qilin clan leader's injuries had yet to be treated, Len Ruoxue and the rest could not leave immediately. They could only stay in the qilin clan. Thanks in the days that followed, Len Ruoxue did not waste any time. It just so happened that First Elder and the rest were here, so she dragged them along to refine pills and weapons. But in this way, Uncle Long and Master Ning were even more bored. Even though the two of them were not willing to stay here for long and Shuer had told them to return first and return after the qilin clan leader had recovered, they would not let Shuer and the other alchemists and weapon refiners stay in the Tiger's Denver. If the qilin clan leader's injuries were not fully recovered and the qilin clan became angry out of embarrassment and used Shuer and the others as punching bags, it would be bad. Therefore, the two of them had a private discussion. I can't leave now. But if they didn't leave, the two of them would be very bored. In addition, the qilin elders, who they had a good relationship with, were all guarding the qilin tribe leader. The two of them had nothing to do and could only sit in the living room and stare at each other. AI. It's so boring. In the living room, Uncle Long had sighed countless times. Uncle Long. I'm bored too, so can you stop saying these words all the time? You're making me very annoyed. Master Ning said helplessly. Shuer was temporarily in seclusion to refine pills and weapons, but those cute little beasts were also clamoring to go into seclusion, making him even more bored. Now, other than Uncle Long, this rotten old man, he couldn't even find anyone to talk to. You think I'm not annoyed? Come, let's have a fight. I haven't fought in a long time, my hands are itching. Uncle Long suggested. Then he stood up and dragged Master Ning to find a place to fight. Master Ning didn't refuse, and the two walked out together. However, after walking around the territory of the qilin clan several times, they didn't find a suitable place to fight. They didn't dare to start a fight around the territory of the qilin clan. Otherwise, the qilin clan might think that they were provoking them. However, the two's actions were like headless flies, which also attracted the curious gazes of many qilin guards. One of the qilins asked out of curiosity. When he learned that the two of them wanted to fight, his eyes suddenly lit up. You want to fight? I'll accompany you. The Kirin's eyes glowed green, as if it had found a new toy. Looking at it and comparing the height difference between the two sides, Uncle Long was silent. This Qilin guard was currently in its original form. It was much taller than them, and its leg was as thick as their waists. He wanted to fight with them. More importantly, although the Qilin was only a guard, its strength was also at the reverent god level. In its original form, the Qilin was absolutely invincible, so neither of them wanted to accept its challenge. However, this Qilin race guard was obviously a stubborn and one-track-minded fellow. He only knew that the two people in front of him wanted to fight, but he didn't even think about whether they wanted to fight him or not. Therefore, it enthusiastically grabbed Uncle Long and Master Ning with its two huge claws and threw them on its back, then disappeared at the gate of the Qilin clan as fast as lightning. In addition, it was a wind attribute Qilin, so its speed was extremely fast. By the time Uncle Long and Master Ning realized that they had been kidnapped, they had already been taken to a relatively strange place. Where was this place? Barren Mountain? The wilderness? Uncle Long and Master Ning looked at each other in silence, wondering why the Qilin had brought them to this place where even birds didn't want to poop. At this moment, they were surrounded by a series of small mountains. Those small mountains were only a little higher than the Qilin in front of them. Not a single blade of grass grew on the mountains, and it was very desolate. The place they were standing on was relatively flat, so much so that the two of them deeply wondered what kind of place they were. As if he had seen through their doubts, a certain Kirin, who was full of interest, explained to the two of them excitedly, "This place is not bad, right? This is a place where we like-minded Qilin sparring. It's just that they've been too busy recently, so we haven't sparred for a long time. It's good that you have this idea today, so I'll play with you." Chapter 2765, I'm not made of paper, too, but we don't want to play with you. Uncle Long and Master Ning looked troubled. They could tell that this was a Qilin that was crazy for fighting, and it was fast, so they knew that they wouldn't be able to gain any advantage if they fought it. More importantly, Uncle Long and Master Ning didn't want to have a serious fight. They were just bored. But now with this Qilin, they had to be serious. AI. He was so conflicted. Just do your best. They were also afraid that this Qilin would pester them endlessly. If they didn't use their full strength and lost, they would lose face again. What should he do now? Uncle Long and Master Ning suddenly felt like they were riding a tiger and couldn't stop. However, the two of them were too embarrassed to refuse the Kirin's extremely hot eyes. Otherwise, this Kirin who was too excited would probably get angry. Without any other choice, the two of them shamelessly asked Leng Ruoxue for help. Leng Ruoxue, who was refining pills with Shen Nua and the rest, was shocked when she received the call for help from Uncle Long and Master Ning. When she heard the two of them calling for help, Leng Ruoxue had no patience to listen to anything else and went to find Feng Yi in a hurry. At this moment, Feng Yi was being recruited by Bing Yun. Seeing that Leng Ruoxue had come to look for him, the listless him immediately became excited as if he had been injected with chicken blood. "You bastard!" Recently, the elders had all been guarding the clan leader. There were many things in the clan that no one had handled. Bing Yun, that shameless thing, treated him like a silly boy and ordered him around. He even used the clan to threaten him, causing him to be able to work hard without complaint. As for this pitiful child, he had long been hoping that someone would save him from his misery. Hence, when he saw Leng Ruoxue now, he felt closer to her than he would to his family. Leng Ruoxue didn't say anything else. She pulled Feng Yi aside and said, "Hurry up and follow me." He directly dragged Feng Yi away in front of Bing Yun. Bing Yun saw this and wanted to stop them, but the two of them had disappeared. Feng Yi's infuriating words rang in her ears, "I'll go with you, even if we have to go to the ends of the earth." Ice's mouth twitched as she tried her best to forget this sentence and did what she should do. Even though Leng Ruoxue was shocked by his words, she did not have the time to argue with Feng Yi. She dragged him to the meeting place with First Elder and the rest and ordered Feng Yi to bring them to Uncle Long and Godfather. "Where?" Feng Yi was stunned. "I don't know." Leng Ruoxue blinked her eyes innocently and did not ask. Feng Yi was dumbfounded. First Elder and the rest were also dumbfounded. Shuai'er's words were too innocent and too cute. I can't stand it. How could she be so cute? After recovering from their shock, First Elder and the rest looked at Leng Ruoxue with sparkling eyes. Even Feng Yi felt that Leng Ruoxue's little appearance was very cute. Feng Yi, who was overflowing with love, consoled Leng Ruoxue with a look of sympathy and worry. It doesn't matter if you don't know. You can ask me now. As long as you can tell me the general situation, I can find all the places within 100 miles of the Qilin clan. I'll ask now. Leng Ruoxue laughed awkwardly, then sent a voice transmission to Uncle Long and her godfather. In reality, after the two of them had called for Shuai'er to save them, they were cut off by the anxious Leng Ruoxue. At that time, the two of them were extremely depressed. Sob. Shuai'er doesn't care about them anymore. This fact was too hurtful. Just as the two of them were about to cry silently in their hearts, Shuai'er's voice transmission came. This time, it was to ask for their address. Instantly, the two of them were revived on the spot with full health. They knew it. How could Shuai'er not care about them? Thanks, but where was this place? They did not know either. They looked at each other hesitantly and turned around to try to get the guards to talk, but a certain Qilin couldn't give them a reason for this place. He only said that this was a place where many Qilin often came to play. A place that you often come to play. No name. When the two of them told Leng Ruoxue their answer, Leng Ruoxue was conflicted. Take us to the place you hang out often, she said to Feng Sun after that. Feng Sun was silent for a moment, then said cautiously, Are you sure you want to go? Of course, hurry up. Saving people is like putting out a fire. If Uncle Long and Godfather lose a single hair, I won't let you off. Leng Ruoxue threatened. Did she look like she was joking? What does this have to do with me? Feng Yi said with an aggrieved expression. You're dilly-dallying. You're delaying my time to save them. Leng Ruoxue laughed evilly. These words made Feng Yi deeply depressed. After that, he obediently returned to his original form and greeted Leng Ruoxue and the rest, quickly sit on it. Don't waste any more time. He was really scared of this unreasonable woman. Woo-woo. Bad guy. They were all a bunch of bad guys. You only know how to bully the honest Qilin. Feng Yi truly felt that his current status was very low. It seemed that all of this had only started when he met Leng Ruoxue, right? Hee, I've never ridden a Qilin before. At this time, First Elder said with a smile. These words made Feng Yi even more depressed. What kind of people were these? If not for Leng Ruoxue's threat, would he have allowed these humans to sit on his back? He glanced at Leng Ruoxue with hidden bitterness. Feng Yi's face was red as he said, I did it all for you. Leng Ruoxue ignored Feng Yi's pitiful expression and gave him a kick in the butt, indicating for him to leave quickly. Feng Yi resigned himself to his fate and ran out. Soon, they arrived at their destination. This is the place. Feng Yi said honestly, a hint of shyness on his face. When Leng Ruoxue saw the place, she immediately jumped down from Feng Yi's back. She looked up at her surroundings and was immediately speechless. What was this place? What was the situation with the pairs of Qilins hugging each other? Is this the place you guys often play? Leng Ruoxue asked uncertainly. Her instinct told her that the place Uncle Long mentioned was definitely not the same place that Feng Yi had brought them to. Yup. Ever since we came of age, we've been coming here often for dates. Feng Yi said, a little embarrassed. He even lowered his head shyly. A place to date the opposite sex. Leng Ruoxue and the rest were confused. Other than this place, are there any other places you go often? Leng Ruoxue could not help but ask. Uncle Long and Godfather would never come here. She dared to guarantee it. No more. Feng Yi said honestly. Then, he couldn't help but ask, Shuai'er, what happened? Tell me, I'll help you analyze it. You know how to analyze? Leng Ruoxue asked in surprise. It was not that she looked down on Feng Yi, but the impression he gave her had always been a little stupid. Could he really analyze anything? Chapter 2766, I'm not made of paper. 3. Of course I can. I'm one of the most intelligent Qilins in the Qilin clan. Feng Yi said proudly. After hearing this, Leng Ruoxue and the others fell silent once more. However, Leng Ruoxue still gave him face and said, Uncle Long and Godfather were calling for help. I'm afraid something might have happened to them. Hee hee. What could have happened to them in the Qilin race? Could it be that some female Qilin has taken a fancy to them? When Feng Yi heard Leng Ruoxue's words, he gave an ambiguous smile. When Leng Ruoxue heard this, she couldn't help but give it another vicious kick and said angrily, Do you think Uncle Long and Godfather are like you, unable to move when they see a female Qilin? Hee hee. Men and male beasts were the same. It's normal for the opposite sex to attract each other, why wouldn't Shuer be willing to admit it? Feng Yi winked at Leng Ruoxue, making her want to kick him again. But this time, Feng Yi learned his lesson. After saying this, it immediately jumped to a safe distance and said, What I said is not impossible. Shuer, you should consider it carefully. Consider my ass. Quickly take us to other places. Leng Ruoxue ordered. All right then. Seeing that Leng Ruoxue was unwilling to face the truth, Feng Yi was also very impatient. After that, he accepted his fate and brought Leng Ruoxue and the rest around to search. After searching for a long time, Feng Yi finally found Uncle Long and Master Ning's aura in a mountain stream, so he directly landed. So you guys are here. I've been looking for you. As soon as they landed, Feng Yi started to complain. Crazy. What are you doing here? The Qilin guard said unhappily when he saw Feng Yi. You bastard. You're the crazy one, your whole family is crazy. Hearing this, Feng Yi was instantly enraged. Hee hee. My family seems to include you. A certain Kirin said in a calm manner. Feng Sun was silent. Leng Ruoxue and the rest were speechless as well. This was the first time they had seen an idiot scolding themselves as well. However, none of them had expected that these two Qilins were actually a family. While Feng Yi and the other party were bickering, Leng Ruoxue took the opportunity to observe Uncle Long and Godfather carefully. Seeing that they were fine, she was instantly relieved. Then, she pulled the two of them and asked them about the whole incident in a low voice. When she found out that the two of them had called for help in a moment of desperation because the Qilin guard wanted to fight them, Leng Ruoxue didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The great elder even gave them a look of disdain. How embarrassing. How big of a matter was it to cause them trouble? Ah. We don't want to fight it. Uncle Long smiled awkwardly. Then you called me here because you want me to fight it? Leng Ruoxue blinked her eyes and asked in a speechless manner. No, this guy is a battle maniac. We were entangled by it and had no choice but to ask you for help, hee hee. Shuer, you must have a way, right? Master Ning looked at Leng Ruoxue with a fawning expression. What if I say that I have no other choice? Leng Ruoxue said in all seriousness. Shuer, you can't just leave me in the lurch. Master Ning said with a sad face. Leng Ruoxue looked at her godfather's expression and knew that he was pretending to be pitiful. However, she did not expose him. Instead, she walked over to the green Qilin that looked exactly like Feng Yi and sized it up. Originally, the green Qilin had been glaring at Feng Yi. Who knew that it would suddenly feel a very hot gaze, which made its little heart tremble? What are you looking at? Haven't you seen it before? The green Qilin could not take it anymore. It was getting goosebumps from Leng Ruoxue's stare. Woo-woo. Bad guy. Why are you targeting it? One had to know that there was a saying that was circulating throughout the Qilin clan. That was to never be targeted by Leng Ruoxue. Otherwise, it might end up like Feng Yi. It did not intend to lose its precious freedom like Feng Yi. Indeed, I've never seen him before. let me introduce myself first. I'm Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue nodded her head seriously and extended her dainty jade-like hand to grab the other party's large claw as a gesture. Ah. Feng Hua. The Azure Kirin replied in a daze. Uncle Long and Master Ning finally knew the name of the Qilin. Feng Yi smiled and added, he's my family's battle-loving idiot Qilin, my uncle's younger brother. Now, he somewhat understood why this idiot had kidnapped Uncle Long and Master Ning. Leng Ruoxue was surprised to hear that Feng Yi had called another Qilin an idiot. I'm clearly an idiot. Now, he was still calling other Qilins like this. She really didn't know how Feng Yi's brain worked. Magical, too magical. At this moment, Feng Hua also protested, damn it. You're the younger brother, I'm the older brother, okay? Thanks. After hearing this, Leng Ruoxue couldn't help but admit that Feng Yi's words were indeed a little stupid. He didn't mind that Feng Yi called him an idiot, but he was concerned that he wasn't his brother. What kind of logic was that? After a moment of silence, Leng Ruoxue turned to Feng Hua and said, Peerless beauty. I heard that you like to fight. How about we have a competition? I do like to fight, but I never fight with women. Besides, my name is Feng Hua. Please don't give me random names. Feng Hua said with a serious face. Hearing this, Leng Ruoxue couldn't help but laugh to herself. She then said cautiously, please don't treat me like a woman. Furthermore, the peerless and magnificent are already connected, so this name is very suitable for you. Oh, really? All right. You can call me Peerless Beauty, but I still can't help but treat you as a woman, and you're still so young. Feng Hua said gloomily. She gestured with her claws again, and it was Leng Ruoxue's turn to be depressed. It wasn't difficult for her to admit that she wasn't as big as one of the other party's legs. It was true. So, I won't compete with you. If you want to compete, you should compete with the two of them. Seeing that Leng Ruoxue didn't deny it, Feng Hua told her the truth and pointed at Uncle Long and Master Ning. Peerless beauty, are you sure you don't want to give me face? Leng Ruoxue asked again. Women are to be pampered, not beaten. So, I won't fight you. Feng Hua stretched out her huge paw and touched Leng Ruoxue's head. Was she being touched as a pet by a beastie? Leng Ruoxue was conflicted and depressed. This was her specialty. Why did a Qilin get there first? Sob. Leng Ruoxue burst into tears. Moreover, a somewhat silly Qilin actually knew that women were meant to be pampered. This was really too incredible. Leng Ruoxue remained silent for a long time. Seeing this, Feng Hua was worried and asked carefully, what's wrong? Did I hurt you? It was referring to the moment when he touched Leng Ruoxue's head. I'm not made of paper. Leng Ruoxue's face was covered in tears. As expected, Feng Zhu's family was all abnormal. Sob. She didn't want to stay here anymore. She wanted to go home. At that moment, no words could describe Leng Ruoxue's depression. At the same time, a deafening roar broke through the air, shocking Feng Yi and Feng Hua. Something big has happened. Feng Yi and Feng Hua said at the same time. The voice came too quickly, so they couldn't figure out what was going on. But they were sure that it was not an invasion. However, since such a swift signal had been transmitted out, then no matter what the Qilins were doing, they would definitely rush back to their clan. Therefore, without any delay, Feng Yi and Feng Hua reached out their claws and scooped Leng Ruoxue and the rest up onto their backs, then quickly returned to their clans. When they returned to the territory, Leng Ruoxue was surprised to find that all the Qilins were present. It seemed like something big had happened, so much so that Feng Hua had forgotten to continue fighting with Uncle Long and Godfather. As soon as Leng Ruoxue jumped down from Feng Yi's back, she was immediately surrounded by a group of female Qilin. Then, Leng Ruoxue was kidnapped by the female Qilin. Of course, only Leng Ruoxue felt that she had been kidnapped. Those female Qilin thought that they were very gentle, and considering the weak bodies of humans, their actions were much gentler. Leng Ruoxue, who felt like she had been kidnapped, was brought to a gorgeous room by a group of female Qilin. The female Qilin busied themselves with Leng Ruoxu's face and body. The female Qilin, who was preparing to put on makeup for her, stretched her demonic claws towards Leng Ruoxu first. The female Qilin, who was beating up a pile of fine clothes, waited by the side. When Leng Ruoxu saw this, she hurriedly called for a stop. "Wait! What are you guys doing?" Leng Ruoxu said fearfully. Could the colorful liquid in the female Qilin's hands be poison? "Calm down, Miss Leng. We have been ordered to dress you up," a female Qilin said with a kind smile. "Orders? Whose orders?" Leng Ruoxu was puzzled. What was the Qilin clan up to? Hee. Of course it's the Grand Elder's order, the female Qilin said. Oh. Leng Ruoxu nodded her head to show that she understood. However, she then pointed at the colorful paint in front of her and asked in shock, "Are you guys using these colors to dress me up?" That. Could she ask him to come? Hee. These aren't ordinary dyes, they're made from a secret recipe that our Qilin clan has been keeping for many years. Don't worry, we guarantee that we'll dress you up beautifully, the female Qilin promised. However, Leng Ruoxu really didn't dare to believe her words. This was because humans and beasts had different aesthetic standards. The beautiful that they spoke of might be like a ghost to her. Furthermore, she didn't know what the Qilin clan was trying to do. Did he have to play so big? Is there anything important for your Qilin clan? After some thought, Leng Ruoxu carefully asked. Hee, of course there is, the female Qilin said proudly. What's the important thing? Can you tell me? Leng Ruoxu asked again. Of course not, because we don't know either, the female Qilin replied with a righteous look. Chapter 2767, May I know the goddess name? 1. You don't know, but you still say it so righteously. Leng Ruoxu looked at the proud look on the female Qilin's face and couldn't help but want to ridicule her. However, she felt that her words would be in vain. This female Qilin probably wouldn't take it seriously at all. Looking at her face, which seemed to be proud of the Qilin clan's great event, she felt that if she were to question it, she might be attacked by all these female Qilin. After some thought, she tactfully shut her mouth. In any case, these female Qilin definitely had no ill intentions towards her. However, how could she not paint her face with these colors? Just as she was about to discuss with the female Qilin, another female Qilin ran in. When she saw that Leng Ruoxu had not dressed up, she immediately said anxiously, "Why is your work efficiency so low? You're still not done." After saying that, the female Qilin did not allow any further explanation and quickly used her claws to wipe Leng Ruoxu's face. By the time Leng Ruoxu was about to reject, she had already completed all her actions very quickly and even nodded in satisfaction, "All right. Not bad. This human can be considered a beauty when dressed up." Leng Ruoxu was silent. So, in the eyes of these female Qilin, she had always been an ugly monster. No wonder these female Qilin didn't take her seriously. Following that, the female Qilin removed her outer clothing and gave Leng Ruoxu the luxurious clothes that they had prepared. At this moment, Leng Ruoxu was already numbly allowing the female Qilin to touch her. Fortunately, this female Qilin's movements were very swift. She did not let Leng Ruoxu endure for too long before she announced that she had already dressed up. Leng Ruoxu heaved a huge sigh of relief. Good, she was finally free. Then, she helplessly allowed these female Qilin to criticize her. "Miss Leng, you're so beautiful. She's comparable to the beauties of our Qilin clan." Such praises could be heard without end, but Leng Ruoxu miraculously did not want to hear them at all. In fact, she did not even have the courage to look at her own appearance at this moment. Sob. Should she be happy? Should she thank them for dressing her up? Leng Ruoxu really did not know. After that, she was escorted out of the room by the female Qilin. When she left the room and saw the vexed faces of Uncle Long and the rest, Leng Ruoxue suddenly felt better. Previously, she blamed Uncle Long and Godfather for not saving her, but now, she did not blame them at all. It was true. Seeing the constipated expressions on Uncle Long, Godfather, and the others' faces, as well as the colorful paint on their faces and the brilliant golden clothes they were wearing, Leng Ruoxue knew that they had been treated the same way. For a moment, the few people who were in the same boat wanted to cry. One had to know that among them, other than Uncle Long, the rest were all genuine humans. Their taste in beauty was naturally different from the beasts of the Qilin clan. However, they understood the principle of when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Hence, they could only silently endure all this. As a matter of fact, although Uncle Long was a beast, he had spent more time with humans, so his aesthetic was more like that of humans. Therefore, it could be said that he had no common language with these Qilin in terms of aesthetic. But what else could he say now? Shuai, can we discuss something? Seeing Leng Ruoxue come out, Uncle Long and the rest immediately went forward and whispered. Thanks, what? Leng Ruoxue's face was filled with question marks. Let's not tell anyone about this, okay? Uncle Long and the others looked at each other and said in tacit understanding. The thing they were talking about was naturally his current appearance. I won tea, I definitely won tea. I'll get mad at whoever you say it. Leng Ruoxue immediately expressed her stand when she heard this. Looking at Uncle Long and the others' conflicted expressions, she knew that she wasn't in a good state. As expected, the moment she finished speaking, Leng Ruoxue received looks of sympathy from Uncle Long and the others. Her godfather even sighed and patted her on the shoulder. His eyes seemed to be saying the words "my condolences." Uncle Long and the others followed suit. Leng Ruoxue was so depressed that she was on the verge of tears. You can't do this. You're all dressed up. Suddenly, a surprised voice came from behind them. Everyone turned around and saw Feng Yi, who was also dressed up, behind them. He seemed to be surprised. Especially when he saw Leng Ruoxue, Feng Yi rushed in front of her. He trembled and sobbed, "Ji goddess, hello, my name is Feng Yi. I'm a Qilin with the wind attribute. I'm very happy to have the opportunity to meet you. May I know the goddess name?" Hearing this, Leng Ruoxue's face turned black. Uncle Long and the rest could not bear to look at her. They all mourned for Feng Yi's blindness in their hearts. This guy asked for it. He had just touched a sore spot. As expected, just as Uncle Long and the others thought of this, Leng Ruoxue kicked Feng Yi's lower abdomen. Feng Yi, who was not prepared for this, fell flat on his back. After he fell, Feng Yi was not ashamed, but proud. He laughed and said, "Goddess, is this the so-called, beating is affection, scolding is love? It seems that the goddess has a good impression of me. Let's date." Dating? Date, my ass. After Leng Ruoxue finished her roar, she continued to punch and kick Feng Yi, who had yet to get up. At this moment, many Qilins had gathered around. However, no one stepped forward to stop the fight. In the minds of the Qilins, a man should not fight back when he is scolded or hit. That is why they treated Feng Yi's beating as a joke. Naturally, everyone just watched. As for Uncle Long and the others, they couldn't stop Shuai at all. In their hearts, Feng Yi was the classic example of someone who would not die if he didn't seek death. Leng Ruoxue was tired from the beating and left with a cold face. As for Feng Yi, he was still in a daze with a happy expression. It wasn't until Uncle Long couldn't stand it anymore and kicked the dazed Feng Yi out of his daze that he finally woke up. At this moment, Feng Yi's face, which was originally covered in colors, immediately swelled up. He looked like a pig that had been painted. His clothes were also covered in dust and a few of them were torn. It was a terrible sight. However, Feng Yi clearly did not realize how serious the situation on his face and body was. Instead, he pulled on Uncle Long's sleeve and asked persistently, "Uncle Long, who was that goddess? Do you know her?" "You don't know him." Uncle Long was shocked. This old man recognized him, but he didn't recognize Shuai. There was something wrong with his eyes. How could I possibly know the goddess? If I knew him, I would have chased after him long ago. Feng Yi said matter-of-factly. Ah. I advise you not to have any ideas about her, otherwise, you'll die a miserable death. Uncle Long reminded Feng Sun kindly, silently praying for him. Chapter 2768, May I know the goddess name? 2. Why? I was loyal to her at first sight. How can we just let it go like this? Feng Sun said stubbornly. Upon hearing this, Uncle Long couldn't help but think to himself, this isn't the first time you've met. Forget it. You two are really not suitable for each other. After some thought, Uncle Long felt that it was better not to break Feng Yi's fantasy of a goddess. Otherwise, he didn't know if this guy could take the blow. I think we're very suitable for each other. Feng Yi didn't want to give up. But after thinking about it, he glared at Uncle Long warily and said, Uncle Long, tell me the truth. Are you also moved by my goddess? That's why you didn't let me chase after you. Uncle Long didn't know what to say. Sigh. Just let this fantasy-brained guy discover it himself. He was too lazy to talk. However, Uncle Long's silence made Feng Yi feel that Uncle Long had tacitly agreed. Hence, he immediately raised Uncle Long's status to the level of a love rival. He even glared at Uncle Long covetously and shouted fiercely, Uncle Long, I want to challenge you. Whoever loses will give up on pursuing the goddess. Idiot. After staring at Feng Yi for a long time, Uncle Long finally spat out these two words. Then, he learned from Leng Ruoxue and left with a cold face. Come back here. Coward. Don't you go. Seeing Uncle Long ignore him and walk away, the anger in Feng Yi's heart instantly surged several steps. If Master Ning hadn't stopped him in time, he would have rushed over to stop Uncle Long and fought a big battle. Master Ning, let me go. Why are you holding me? Oh. I know, you guys are in a group, so you're ganging up to bully me, right? Since Uncle Long didn't stop him, Feng Yi, who was already furious, turned his gun around and fired at Master Ning. I'm doing this for your own good. Master Ning said calmly and left. AI. Good luck. Then, the first elder and the others patted Feng Yi's shoulder to comfort him and followed Master Ning silently. Feng Yi, who was left behind, was completely depressed. You bastard. Why were those people so confused? What did they mean by that? Feng Yi racked his brains but still couldn't figure it out. At the same time, Leng Ruoxue, who had returned to her residence, had just sat down in the garden when she saw that Uncle Long and the rest had all returned. Uncle Long's expression was especially ugly. On the contrary, Godfather and the others seemed to be extremely enduring something, and their faces were red. Uncle Long, why are you back? Leng Ruoxue asked in confusion. If I don't come back, I'll die of anger. Long Shuhua roared. Ah. There shouldn't be anyone in the Qilin clan that would anger you, right? Leng Ruoxue could not help but ask. Why not? Feng Yi knows how to do it. Master Ning added, holding back his laughter. Leng Ruoxue was puzzled. Did that idiot Feng Yi have such guts? She could not believe it. At this moment, the first elder was still the kind-hearted one. He described the incident to Leng Ruoxue. After Leng Ruoxue heard it, she was speechless and did not know what to say. Damn it. If this wasn't the Qilin clan, I would have definitely beaten him up. Uncle Long said angrily after the first elder finished speaking. I've already beaten him up. Leng Ruoxue reminded him with a faint smile. Thanks, that doesn't count. The way you beat them up might make the Qilin clan think that you're flirting with each other. Uncle Long cruelly stated the truth. After all, as a beast, he was very clear about the thoughts of some male beasts. Being beaten up by a woman was nothing in the hearts of male beasts. But Leng Ruoxue did not know that. Therefore, when she heard Uncle Long's words, her face turned even uglier. If what Uncle Long said was true, then wouldn't she have beaten him up for nothing? Leng Ruoxue was so depressed that it was as if she had eaten gold thread. Why did you guys come back? I've been looking for you guys everywhere. Suddenly, Bing Yun's voice sounded in their ears. Everyone turned their heads and looked at Bing Yun. No one spoke. On the other hand, Leng Ruoxue almost took her anger out on him out of reflex. Fortunately, she managed to hold it in. Seeing that everyone's expressions were a little strange, Bing Yun even asked with a baffled look, "What's wrong with you guys?" "Nothing, is there something you need?" Master Ning, who was still calm, asked as a representative. "Of course, I'm here to invite you," Bing Yun said in a great mood. "Tell me, what is it? Otherwise, we won't go." Leng Ruoxue didn't want to be treated like drawing paper by the Qilin clan and be scribbled on at will, so she had to clarify things first. Bing Yun had not expected Leng Ruoxue to say such a thing. For a moment, he was completely stunned. Then, he could not help but look at Uncle Long and the others. He thought to himself, did something happen that I don't know about? Thinking for a moment, Bing Yun said carefully, "Miss Leng, I've been informed that this matter cannot be said." "Oh, really? Then we won't go." Leng Ruoxue's attitude was a little forceful. She admitted that she was a little angry. First, it was those Qilin who wanted to dress up her female Qilin. Then, it was that idiot Feng Yi. She had had enough, really. What was it that had to be so mysterious? Moreover, this seemed to be an internal matter of the Qilin clan. Since that was the case, it shouldn't matter if they didn't attend. "Miss Leng, you're making things difficult for me." Seeing that Leng Ruoxue had already made up her mind, Bing Yun was so depressed and conflicted that he wanted to bang his head against a wall. Woo! Why couldn't this little girl be like a normal human and be filled with intense curiosity about the unknown? He had lived for so long, but he had never seen such a difficult human. Especially since they were still in the territory of the Qilin clan. Could it be that this little girl couldn't have the awareness that a guest should follow the host? Bing Yun silently ridiculed. Leng Ruoxue wasn't sure of Bing Yun's thoughts either. Otherwise, she would have told him that curiosity killed the cat and that she would never do anything out of her control. Otherwise, she would have been killed by her so-called curiosity. When Bing Yun saw that he was unable to convince Leng Ruoxue, he turned his pleading gaze towards Uncle Long and the others. In his heart, Uncle Long and the others should be easier to talk to. After all, they were all men, so it should be easier for him to talk to them. However, he was wrong this time. This was related to Leng Ruoxue. No matter if it was right or wrong, Uncle Long and the others were determined to protect Shuai'er's interests. Hence, his request for help would not receive any help at all. Seeing Uncle Long and the others ignore his request for help, and even turn their heads away as if they didn't see him, Bing Yun was a bit more conflicted. Left with no choice, he could only report this to the Great Elder. Not long after, the First Elder and Huiyu rushed over. Before he could speak, Leng Ruoxue spoke first. "Shouldn't you be guarding your Qilin clan's patriarch at this time? How come you have the time to come and find me personally?" Upon seeing the two of them, Leng Ruoxue seemed to have guessed something. However, she still needed to verify it. Chapter 2769, May I know the goddess name? 3. That's right. However, there's something more important for the Qilin clan right now. Thus, we have no choice but to leave for the time being and settle this matter first. The First Elder wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and said guiltily. This girl was indeed not the usual kind of trouble. First Elder really wanted to kneel down in front of her. Of course, the prerequisite was that Leng Ruoxue would obediently follow the arrangements if she knelt down. It seems like the Qilin clan chief is nothing in your hearts. You can even temporarily put aside your worries about the clan chief while he's healing and go do something more important than him. I really feel bad for your clan leader. Leng Ruoxue sighed. Her words made the Great Elder of the Qilin clan and Huiyu break out in cold sweat. Woo, could they not be wronged like this? In their hearts, the clan leader was the most important, but now. The two Qilins were extremely depressed after being maligned by Leng Ruoxue. However, they could not speak the truth now. Hence, they could only silently swallow the dirty water that Leng Ruoxue had forcefully poured on them. This fact made them feel even more aggrieved, but what could they say? Uncle Long and the others laughed to themselves when they saw the two Qilins so depressed that they wanted to bang their heads against the wall to express their feelings. These two guys wanted to have a war of words with Shuai, but they would lose without a doubt. They even felt some sympathy for the first elder of the Qilin clan and Huiyu. Of course, they didn't want to speak up for the other party. Instead, they enjoyed watching the show. In contrast to their excitement, the Qilin elder and Huiyu were silent for a long time. They did not know how to refute. The two Qilin looked at each other and then looked up at Leng Ruoxue. They looked at each other for a long time. Leng Ruoxue was still calm, but Great Elder Qilin and Fire Yu couldn't calm down at all. The time was almost up, but they still hadn't dealt with Leng Ruoxue. Sob. What should they do? The two pitiful Qilins wanted to cry but had no tears. They even tried to move Leng Ruoxue by acting pitiful, but Leng Ruoxue remained unmoved. What a cruel and cold-blooded girl. No wonder his surname was Leng. Huiyu secretly sighed, but in his heart, he was full of tears. Because he suddenly realized that in the few times he had come into contact with Leng Ruoxue, other than the first time when they had schemed against her and used her to escape from old Grand Madam, he had never won against her in the subsequent interactions. He was so pitiful. Huiyu finally discovered this fact, and the way he looked at Leng Ruoxue became more and more resentful. Unfortunately, no matter how much he lamented, Leng Ruoxue ignored him. Just like that, the two sides were in a stalemate. As time passed by, the Qilin Grand Elder was burning with anxiety. He tried to persuade Leng Ruoxue, "Miss Leng, do you think you can come with us to deal with official business first? Well, definitely explain it to you later." "We cannot. Who knows what your business is? What if they wanted to kill him to silence him? Who will I cry to then?" Leng Ruoxue deliberately put on a stern face. These words choked the Qilin First Elder, causing him to almost pass out. "I'm innocent. This was a great injustice. How could they possibly kill him to silence him? How could their Qilin race be such cruel and unscrupulous beasts?" But when he saw Leng Ruoxue's disbelieving expression, he really didn't know what to say. Uncle Long and the others were laughing in their hearts. Hee hee. Shuai was really too evil. Was he trying to force the Qilin Great Elder to speak the truth? However, this old man seemed to be very determined. He would not be so easy to pry open. With this thought in mind, Uncle Long and the others decided to add oil to the fire. Then, Uncle Long seriously agreed, "Shuai's concerns are not without reason. It seems that we really have to be careful. After all, we have limited manpower. If the Qilin race really wants to get rid of us, I'm afraid we can't do anything." After he finished speaking, he immediately looked at the Qilin Great Elder and the Fire Guangdong tribe leader vigilantly. His serious face seemed to be saying, "Come at me if you want to fight. I'm not afraid of you guys." Can you not say that? They weren't that kind of beastie. Let me remind you, none of us are combat-type talents, so when we fight, you'd better not attack us. It's everyone's responsibility to protect special talents. The First Elder said after seeing the strength of his own side. Yes. However, please allow us to attack you. Jiang Ning added with an evil smile. Is this the rhythm of a fight? They didn't seem to have done anything. The First Elder of the Qilin family and Huiyu were on the verge of a mental breakdown after hearing Uncle Long's words. Can't we just have fun together? When is the war? Seeing that the other two Qilins had been provoked quite badly, Master Ning lightly added. Thanks, we don't intend to fight with you. After a long time, after taking a few deep breaths, Huiyu replied in a low voice. They were clearly here to invite people, but in the end, why did it become a war? How did this happen? How did this happen? The two Qilins completely broke down. There was no way to continue this conversation. If they continued, the other party might attack directly and ruin their Qilin clan's grand event. Little girl, don't make things difficult for them. I was the one who told them to keep it a secret. At this moment, a helpless voice rang in Leng Ruoxu's and the others' ears. Following the voice, two figures appeared. One of them was Shui Mo, and the other was a man. He stood helplessly beside Shui Mo and sighed while looking at them. This man was handsome and powerful. He was even a head taller than Shui Mo, who was not short to begin with. He looked intimidating in blue. An intimidating aura surrounded him. With just one look, Leng Ruoxue had already guessed the man's identity. You are the Qilin clan chief. Leng Ruoxue said with certainty. Uncle Long and the others were no stranger to the man's appearance. After all, in the firmament, any old man who had lived for a long time would recognize this famous clan leader of the Qilin clan. Hence, they were more respectful to this man than Leng Ruoxue was. Ha ha ha. Big brother, I told you, this little girl would definitely guess your identity. Hearing this, Shui Mo laughed, gloating. The Qilin clan leader rolled his eyes at Shui Mo before turning to Leng Ruoxue. Little girl, you know I'm the Qilin clan leader and you still dare to be so presumptuous? Aren't you afraid that it'll teach you a lesson in my anger? I'm not afraid. I've long heard that the Qilin clan leader is a great hero. I don't think a hero would be ungrateful, right? Leng Ruoxue replied calmly. I heard that it was the reincarnation pill that saved me. The Qilin clan leader said on purpose. Yes, but I was the one who concocted the reincarnation pill. Leng Ruoxue didn't mind the Qilin clan leader's words at all. Instead, she continued to reply naturally. Hearing this, the Qilin clan leader fell silent and couldn't help but think to himself, this girl is indeed as arrogant as Shui Mo said. He really didn't know who she was afraid of. AI. Alright. He had lost. In reality, the reason why he was testing Leng Ruoxue was because of the bet he made with Shui Mo. Initially, Shui Mo had wanted to let the two of them meet. After all, in his heart, Leng Ruoxue was different from the rest and was the benefactor of the Qilin clan. However, he wanted to be mysterious and give Leng Ruoxue a surprise. In his eyes, most humans would fall for this trick. However, he had met Leng Ruoxue, who did not play by the rules. Hence, he did not manage to surprise her. Instead, he had caused a shock to some of his clansmen. The Qilin clan leader glanced at the aggrieved first elder and Hui Yu and sighed silently. Then, he deliberately put on a stern face and said to Leng Ruoxue, little girl, you're quite bold. Are you really not afraid of me? Although he had already admitted that he had lost, he still wanted to take a gamble. What if this little girl was pretending? Perhaps he could even turn the tide. The stubborn Qilin clan leader had a good plan. Shui Mo had known him for so long, so he knew what he was thinking. Shui Mo had no choice but to watch silently. Do I need to be afraid of you? Although I've long heard that the Qilin clan leader is a heroic figure, I've never witnessed your most glorious period, so I naturally can't say that I'm afraid. I only know that without my help, your great hero can only regretfully sleep in this ice room. In that case, shouldn't you worship me instead? Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Her words were so arrogant that Uncle Long and the others broke out in a cold sweat. First Elder Qilin and Hui Yu turned pale with fright. Only Shui Mo remained calm. This haughty Leng Ruoxue was the little girl he knew and admired. Actually, Shui Mo was very happy that Leng Ruoxue would do this because this meant that they would be able to see the true side of Leng Ruoxue. Only such an arrogant Leng Ruoxue had the right to be on equal footing with the Qilin clan and be respected by them. This wasn't to say that the Qilin race had a physique that deserved to be abused. It was just to say that the strong were all proud. Only the strong had the right to be arrogant. The partner that the Qilin clan needed was someone as confident and arrogant as Leng Ruoxue. After all, no one would want their partner to be respectful to them. Such a partner could not be called a true partner. They were more like a subordinate. What the Chilean race wanted was a true partner who could stand side by side with them. One must know that Leng Ruoxu's previous politeness was completely unlike the little human girl he knew. At that time, he was actually a little disappointed. It was only after the stimulation of the fire yu that Leng Ruoxue showed a trace of strength, and he gradually became satisfied. A true expert had to stand upright. Shui Mo was overjoyed to see Leng Ruoxu's performance in front of his intimidating big brother. Chapter 2770, Here We Come, 1, as expected of the person he had taken a fancy to. She really did not disappoint him. However, this proud big brother of his seemed to have suffered quite a big blow. After all, after so many years, this was the first time he had seen his big brother reveal a constipated expression of struggle. Such an expression was really too rare. If he wasn't afraid that Big Brother would be angry, he really wanted to use a memory crystal to take a picture of Big Brother's expression at this moment and remember it forever. As if sensing Shui Mo's thoughts, the Chilean clan leader glared at Shui Mo before sighing and saying helplessly, "You're right, I should really admire you." How could he not admire a little fellow who dared to speak to him like that? One had to know that in the entire divine realm, even Wu Yan didn't have the guts to speak to him like this. More importantly, if he had really heard what Wu Qin said, he would have attacked directly, but this little guy couldn't. AI. The Chilean clan leader was depressed and conflicted. When Leng Ruoxue heard the Chilean clan leader's words, she remained extremely calm. Uncle Long and the rest looked at each other, and their eyes revealed that the Chilean clan leader had indeed been greatly provoked. Then, they laughed bitterly. Perhaps only Shuai would dare to speak to the Chilean clan leader in such a manner and not get beaten up. If it were anyone else, the Chilean clan leader would have beaten them up so badly that even their parents wouldn't be able to recognize them. In the following time, both sides were silent for a moment. Finally, the Chilean clan leader spoke again, "Little kid, I wanted to give you a surprise, but I didn't expect it to turn into a scare in the end. So, can you give me some face and come with me to the celebration party?" The Chilean clan leader's words were rather polite, almost to the point of begging. It was because he had underestimated Leng Ruoxu's strength previously, so he couldn't act tough now. Leng Ruoxue gave him face and nodded, "Since it's the Chilean clan's head who invited us, of course we have to attend. However, can you let us remove the colorful things on our faces and bodies first? We're really not used to this." Upon hearing this, the Chilean clan leader looked deeply at Leng Ruoxue. He was roaring in his heart, "Of course not. How cute was Leng Ruoxue when she was depressed like this?" Therefore, he looked a little troubled and said, "The clothes on your face and body are the tradition of our Chilean clan. The Chilean of our Chilean clan will dress like this, so I'm very sorry." It was obvious that the Chilean clan leader had rejected it out of a little revenge. Otherwise, he would have felt extremely unbalanced. When Leng Ruoxue heard the Chilean clan leader's words, she could only take a deep breath and remind him, "We are humans. Don't the humans have a saying, 'When in Rome do as the Romans do'?" The Chilean clan leader asked with a smile. As expected, he's an old fox. Leng Ruoxue was furious, but the other party's words weren't wrong. Hence, Leng Ruoxue couldn't find any fault with them. In the end, Leng Ruoxue gritted her teeth and decided to do whatever she wanted. What's the big deal? It's just that her dressing doesn't match human aesthetics. She endured it. Leng Ruoxue, who had thought of this, said calmly, "Since that's the case, let's do as the Romans do." "Thanks, Miss Leng is really considerate." After hearing this, the Chilean clan leader complimented her and made a gesture of invitation. Leng Ruoxue had no choice but to brace herself and leave with him. Along the way, Leng Ruoxue stayed by the Chilean clan leader's side without a word. Uncle Long and the rest followed behind them silently, wishing they could be invisible. He had no choice. The atmosphere was too depressing. In addition, when they saw the Chilean clan leader's increasingly cheerful expression, like a cat that had stolen a fish, they really didn't know how to evaluate his naivety. Not long after, the group walked in silence all the way to the grand banquet that the Chilean clan had meticulously prepared. The scene was arranged to be in the Qilin clan's largest conference hall. At this moment, it had already been set up. The banquet this time was personally organized by the elders. There were many things that even the ordinary members of the Qilin clan did not participate in. Those Qilin and Leng Ruoxue were also unaware of this. The reason they did this was naturally to give their clansmen a surprise. After all, ever since their clan leader had fallen into a coma from his serious injuries, the Qilin clan had not celebrated anything like this. Now that the clan leader had successfully recovered and woken up, this was simply an unprecedented event for the Qilin clan. Therefore, they planned to have a big celebration. However, when they saw Leng Ruoxue, who seemed to be by their side, the Qilin clan leader was a little uncertain. This girl's expression was truly ugly. How did this happen? One had to know that it was such a great honor for the clan leader to invite her personally. The Qilin elders were naturally not aware that Leng Ruoxue had already fought with their clan head once at Leng Ruoxue's residence. At first, Leng Ruoxue had won, but the Qilin clan head had used when in Rome, do as the Romans do to turn the situation around. The two of them had ended up in a draw, so naturally, they were unconvinced, which led to the current outcome. The Qilin clan's patriarchs, who did not dare to take a deep breath, invited their clan head, Leng Ruoxue, and the rest to take their seats with timid hearts. Then, they sat down in turn, not knowing what to do. The atmosphere was so tense that they could die. How were they supposed to celebrate? The Qilin elders were so worried that they were on fire. At this time, the ordinary clansman that Bing Yun was in charge of also arrived in turn. Before they could sit down, the ordinary Qilin clansmen saw a person who seemed to have only appeared in legends and was deeply engraved in their minds. The clan leader. One of the Qilin race beings couldn't help but ask in a soft voice. Only then did the other Qilin race beings come to a sudden realization, and they all stared at the outstanding man sitting in the center of the table with incredulity. That's me. It's been so many years. Everyone has worked hard. The Qilin clan leader smiled and said gently. After that, the Qilins wailed and all of them hugged their heads and bawled loudly upon hearing this. Their sobs were simply deafening. More importantly, it was as if these Qilins were made of water at this moment. When they cried, the tap wouldn't turn off. Especially after someone started crying, the cries that came one after another stopped no matter what. Of course, this had a lot to do with the fact that the higher-ups of the Qilin clan didn't want to stop them. The Qilin clan master even whispered to Leng Ruoxue, "Little girl, did you see that? My clansmen are so cute. She's quite cute, but her makeup is all ruined from crying. She looks like a ghost now." Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. When she saw that the Qilin's makeup was similar to hers, her heart felt a little more balanced. However, the Qilin's appearance right now was truly frightening. Therefore, she couldn't be blamed for not being compassionate. Ah! These are tears of joy. We have to let them cry to their heart's content. After all, they have held it back for so many years, they need to vent it out. The Qilin race patriarch explained. All right then. What else could Leng Ruoxue say? It had nothing to do with her. Chapter 2771, Here We Come, 2. By the time the Qilins present had finally cried enough, several hours had already passed. Even so, the Qilin Great Elder was still able to announce the official start of the banquet as if nothing had happened. Sighing softly, Leng Ruoxue sat until her waist hurt. However, the banquet had already started, so she had to give the Qilin race some face. After that, the Qilin clan members who knew that Leng Ruoxue was the Qilin clan's great benefactor stepped forward one by one, wanting to toast her to express their gratitude. At first, Leng Ruoxue had only drunk 1 or 2 cups. However, as she saw more and more Qilin toasting to her, her face slowly turned black. Was this a tag team battle? He wanted to get her drunk. Wait, I'll drink on behalf of the goddess. At this moment, a loud shout was heard. Then, Leng Ruoxue saw Feng Yi, whose injuries on his face had already recovered, walking towards her unsteadily. It was obvious that Feng Yi had drunk quite a bit, The drunk Feng Yi staggered towards Leng Ruoxue. He held his wine glass and said, "Goddess, please forgive my poor eyesight. I never thought that you'd be that fierce woman, Leng Ruoxue. This really hurts my heart." After Feng Yi finished speaking, he simply leaned on Leng Ruoxue's table and hugged the table leg as he wailed. He cried so heartbreakingly that anyone who heard him would be heartbroken and shed tears. Leng Ruoxue's face was filled with black lines. Was this her fault? Was she the one who wanted to dress like this? As for Feng Yi, he didn't care so much at this moment. He only knew that he had fallen out of love. The goddess he had fallen in love with at first sight was actually that fiendish Leng Ruoxue. Sobs. What was he going to do? When the Qilins saw Feng Yi crying like this, they were too embarrassed to continue toasting to Leng Ruoxue. They returned to their seats helplessly and sympathetically. As for the Qilin clan leader, he couldn't help but gloat at this interlude. "Little girl, could it be that you've given up on the Qilin man of my race? Fucking around and then abandoning your sister." Leng Ruoxue's heart was burning with anger, and she could not help but curse in her heart. However, she maintained a calm expression and said, "Does the Qilin clan leader think I'm that kind of person? I can only say that you can't judge a book by its cover. More importantly, I'm not familiar with you yet, so I naturally don't know if you're that kind of person." The Qilin clan leader declined the invitation very cleanly, but he didn't hide the eager expression in his eyes. Facing such a shameless Qilin clan leader, Leng Ruoxue felt very fortunate. It was a good thing that she did not revere the Qilin clan leader like Uncle Long and the rest. Otherwise, she would definitely be very disappointed to see this person who only wanted to see the world in chaos. In fact, Uncle Long and the others were so shocked by the lively Qilin clan leader that they didn't know what words to use to describe him. Could this be the true face of the Qilin clan leader? Normally, the Qilin clan leader's serious look was all an act. Was the real Qilin clan leader actually a boring person who loved to gossip? If that was the case, Uncle Long and the others would be disappointed. Thanks, it was a pity that no matter what they thought in their hearts, they could not say it out loud like Leng Ruoxue, who asked the lofty image of the Qilin clan leader to be deeply rooted in their hearts. It was impossible for them to be so presumptuous with their idol in a short time. Now, seeing that Leng Ruoxue and the Qilin clan leader were suspected of using the Feng Yi incident to fight, they could not help but continue to pretend to be invisible. At this moment, everyone heard Leng Ruoxue gnash her teeth and say, "Then let's get to know each other better." "No problem. Where do you think we should get to know each other?" the Qilin clan leader asked with a deeper meaning. "Anywhere," Leng Ruoxue said without a care. "How's the Imperial City?" The Qilin clan leader pondered for a moment before speaking. "The Imperial City?" Leng Ruoxue was about to agree, but she immediately realized that the Qilin clan leader was talking about the Imperial City, the territory of that bitch, Wu Cheng. What was this guy trying to do? One had to know that the familiar she was referring to was a good sparring session with the Qilin clan leader. After all, this was a rare opportunity. However, the other party wanted to go to the Imperial City. What was going on? "I heard that you've been to the Imperial City many times, little girl. I haven't had the chance to go out for a walk in tens of thousands of years. Now that my injuries have recovered, I naturally want to go out and meet my old friends. Are you willing to come with me?" The Qilin clan leader blinked his ice blue eyes and asked with an innocent expression. "You bastard." This old Qilin was actually acting cute. Seeing the Qilin clan's patriarch acting cute, Leng Ruoxue despised him in her heart. However, she still nodded and said, "No problem. I'm quite familiar with the Imperial City. I can be your guide since you haven't left the Qilin clan for tens of thousands of years." "Then it's settled. Well, leave immediately after the banquet," the Qilin clan leader said impatiently. The Qilin clan leader deeply felt that he and Leng Ruoxue were the most compatible in terms of their attitude towards Wuhan. If it was any other clansman, he would have to be careful and consider carefully. "It's really boring. Otherwise, he wouldn't have suddenly come up with an excuse at this time. The great elder of the Qilin clan and Huayu knew that their clan master had made up his mind. They couldn't stop him, so they could only let him be. Right now, their only hope was that Leng Ruoxue was as powerful as the rumors said. Otherwise, they would not be able to rest easy for their clan leader. After all, their clan leader had just recovered. Then, the banquet continued. The Qilin clan leader, who had come to an agreement with Leng Ruoxue, did not continue to make things difficult for her. Instead, he acted as if he was on friendly terms with Leng Ruoxue. Of course, Leng Ruoxue also gave him a lot of face. The world in front of him could be said to be peaceful. The banquet to celebrate the Qilin clan leader's awakening lasted for 3 days. Every Qilin was drunk and slept on the ground. Leng Ruoxue, on the other hand, could no longer withstand the high pressure of her physical strength and had returned to her room to rest early. The moment the banquet ended, while most of the Qilin clan's members were still drunk, the Qilin clan's patriarch had already come knocking on their door. He had a look of urgency on his face as he wanted to set off with Leng Ruoxue immediately. When Leng Ruoxue heard the other party's request, she fell silent for a moment before saying, "Uncle Long and the others are still drunk. I can't just leave them here, can I? Why can't I? If they stay here, the Qilin clan will treat them as honored guests, so don't worry," the Qilin clan leader said. "But if I leave like this, Uncle Long and the others will be angry when they wake up." This was what Leng Ruoxue was most hesitant about. After she finished speaking, she looked at the Qilin clan leader with a hint of hidden bitterness. She thought to herself, "It's all your Qilin clan's fault for preparing this banquet and making Uncle Long and the others drunk." In fact, the so-called feast of the Qilin clan was just a feast for the Qilin. Uncle Long and the others were drinking with a lot of Qilin, so they were all drunk. Now that Uncle Long and the others were still unconscious, if she acted on her own, Uncle Long and the others would definitely attack her. Therefore, she wasn't stupid enough to leave just like that. Chapter 2772, Here We Come, 3, With me here, they won't be angry. The Qilin clan leader promised. He knew that his identity was very useful to the people around Leng Ruoxue. Who knew that when Leng Ruoxue heard these words, she would look at the Qilin clan leader with extreme disdain. "What? You want to use your fists to suppress me? I'm telling you, I won't allow you to bully my people. This girl. This detestable girl." She really felt uncomfortable if she didn't anger him for a day. However, the Qilin clan leader, who had been ruthlessly choked by Leng Ruoxue, couldn't say anything to refute her. That was because he had indeed thought that way. After taking a few deep breaths, the Qilin clan leader promised, "I won't bully them, okay? That's more like it. Wait for me." Leng Ruoxue nodded her head in satisfaction. Then, after leaving behind a sentence that left the Qilin clan leader baffled, she turned around and left. The Qilin clan leader stood dumbly on the spot until Leng Ruoxue appeared in front of him again and said, "All right, we can set off now." "I thought you couldn't leave." The Qilin clan leader was befuddled by Leng Ruoxue's repeated actions. This little girl was a little too hard to control, wasn't she? No wonder it was such a headache. "I've brought Uncle Long and the others." Leng Ruoxue saw through the Qilin clan leader's thoughts and laughed evilly. Hearing this, the Qilin clan leader was depressed. So this little girl had been toying with him all along? He could have brought those people with him, but he lied to him that he couldn't leave them here. How despicable. The Qilin clan leader, who had regained his senses, could only glare at Leng Ruoxue in anger, but he could not say a word. "Don't glare at me," Leng Ruoxue consoled. "If it wasn't for the fact that you're in such a hurry and that you performed well, I wouldn't have brought along the drunk ones." In reality, Leng Ruoxue didn't use the hangover pill to wake them up because she wanted to teach Uncle Long and the others a lesson. She wanted to see if they would still dare to drink without restraint like this in the future. However, she couldn't let them stay here. Otherwise, Uncle Long and the others would definitely go into a riot when they woke up. In addition, she also wanted to see the anxious look on the face of the hero in the eyes of others, so she didn't directly say that she could take Uncle Long and the others with her. Now that her bad taste had been fulfilled, she could naturally leave. The Qilin clan leader could only feel helpless when he saw how mischievous Leng Ruoxue was. "Are you also curious as to why I'm in such a hurry?" he asked after a sigh. "Yes, yes." Leng Ruoxue nodded her head without any reservations. "AI. It's fine to tell you, but my only child fell into the hands of Wu Yi, so I want to go to Yu City to see if I can provoke her into telling me some clues." The Qilin clan leader told him the truth. Hearing such an answer, Leng Ruoxue felt very helpless. She must have had to shoulder the heavy responsibility of stimulating rhyme, right? After some thought, Leng Ruoxue couldn't help but remind him, "Aren't you afraid that the bitch will be too shocked to say anything after seeing the two of us appear together? She won tea. I know her better than you. When she sees us together, she will only proudly tell me how she treated my child. That's why I have to find out the whereabouts of my unborn child from her. I have to know whether he's alive or dead," the Qilin clan leader said with determination. After that, he turned to Leng Ruoxue and said seriously, "Little girl, I still haven't thanked you properly. From now on, you are the most important friend of our Qilin clan. Our Qilin clan will definitely follow your lead, especially on the matter of the fog ice. Our Qilin clan will support you unconditionally." The Qilin clan leader's words should have been said when he first met Leng Ruoxue. However, at that time, the two of them were clearly at loggerheads with each other, so he did not say it. Now was a good time to express his feelings. When Leng Ruoxue heard this, she was obviously a little surprised. In fact, she had tried her best to refine the reincarnation pill not only because she was influenced by Uncle Long and the others, but also because she wanted to befriend the Qilin tribe. However, she didn't expect that the Qilin tribe leader would follow her lead. Although he didn't recognize her as his master, she believed that the Qilin tribe leader was a man of his word. Since he had said so, he wouldn't break his promise. It also made her little dissatisfaction from before disappear successfully. "Qilin clan leader, we're allies from now on," Leng Ruoxue said seriously. "All right." The Qilin clan leader was very happy to hear that Leng Ruoxue was an ally. This meant that Leng Ruoxue wasn't someone who would try to get something in return. This also proved that he had not chosen the wrong person. As expected of Master Ye's disciple, she was extraordinary. The two of them had successfully come to an agreement. Naturally, Leng Ruoxue had nothing to say. After a while, the two of them quietly left the Qilin clan. Thanks by the time the elders of the Qilin clan realized that their clan leader had disappeared, the two of them had already left. When the crying first elder Qilin and Huiyu reported to Shui Mo pitifully that the clan leader had abandoned them, Shui Mo was speechless. "Is it that serious? Didn't he just go to Imperial City? Look at these two guys in front of me, it's like the end of the world." In fact, Shui Mo could understand why his brother was so anxious. After all, his brother had been asleep for so long and it was only natural for him to want to know about his unborn nephew. However, the two guys in front of him were so cautious that he couldn't help but complain. Leng Ruoxue had managed to escape unscathed from the Imperial City several times, and even Wu Xian was unable to do anything to her. Her big brother was a reverent god after all. Although his strength had deteriorated slightly compared to his peak, it shouldn't be a problem for him to go to the Imperial City, right? Moreover, during the celebration of Demon City's founding, Leng Ruoxue had revealed that Wu Xian had been injured. Even though they didn't know how Wu Xian's recovery was, with Leng Ruoxue's company, Wu Xian would probably be helpless against the two of them. Therefore, he was not worried at all. After dealing with the elder and Huiyu, Shui Mo continued to study his formation. The great elder of the Qilin clan and Huiyu, who had retreated without any success, were naturally not at ease with the chief going to the Imperial City like this. The two of them discussed in private and finally decided to send some clansmen to help the chief. Of course, this was also the original plan of the two. It was just that their family patriarch's sneaky escape had completely destroyed their previous deployment, causing the two to be anxious like a pot of porridge. At the same time, with the help of the Qilin clan leader's teleportation, Leng Ruoxue and the Qilin clan leader arrived outside the Imperial City's gate in less than 3 days. As he stood outside the Imperial City, the Qilin clan leader took out the divine power replenishing pills that Leng Ruoxue had given him and ate them in large amounts. Leng Ruoxue's beautiful eyes were smiling as she watched everything that was happening outside the Imperial City. The gate was new, and there were almost twice as many guards at the gate. Oh! Not bad, this is fun. After the Qilin clan's leader was done replenishing his divine power, he saw Leng Ruoxue smiling at the city gate. He asked curiously, "Is there anything fun to do? Why are you all smiling so wretchedly? What's with your eyes? When did I smile wretchedly?" Leng Ruoxue was thoroughly hurt by the word vulgar. She was a woman. How could he be described as wretched? This would affect her image. All right. Why are you smiling so slyly? What did you do? The Qilin clan leader rephrased his words, but it still made Leng Ruoxue depressed. I didn't do anything, it was Azure. Leng Ruoxue retorted angrily. She then pointed at the city gate for the Qilin clan leader to take a look. See this? The city gate is new. No wonder I felt that it was different from what I remembered. The Qilin clan leader said in realization. Thinking of Tsang, even the powerful Qilin clan leader couldn't help but shiver. That guy didn't even give Sir Yu face. He didn't expect that he would take a fancy to Leng Ruoxue. A miracle. What a miracle. After sighing, the Qilin clan leader pulled on Leng Ruoxue's arm and teleported to the city gate. Faced with the familiar faces so close to them, the faces of the guards outside the Imperial City all turned pale, and their small bodies trembled like leaves in the wind. For a moment, they seemed to be frozen in place, so afraid that they couldn't speak. We're coming. Seeing the guards' reaction, Leng Ruoxue had no choice but to speak first. What are you doing here? After a long time, the captain of the guards finally reacted and asked with a trembling voice. He wanted to cry but had no tears in his heart. Woo-woo. Why is this demon here again? But this time, that terrifying cat didn't seem to be following her, but the handsome man beside her didn't seem to be someone to be trifled with. I'm here for a walk, Leng Ruoxue replied in an infuriating manner. On the other hand, the Qilin clan leader was smart enough not to say a word. However, he was thinking to himself, it seems like this last Leng Ruoxue has already become familiar with these guards to a certain extent. It's to the extent that when these guards see her, it's like they've seen a ghost. Previously, he had thought that these guards were afraid of him. Later on, he thought about it. He hadn't been in the divine world for tens of thousands of years. How could these little fellows in front of him still remember who he was? Therefore, he didn't think too highly of himself. Now, it seemed that his thinking was indeed correct. Otherwise, it would be a big embarrassment. However, he had never expected that Leng Ruoxue would be so intimidating in front of the Imperial City's guards. Look at these guards, who were trembling like newborn chicks. Who would have thought that they were once the local tyrants of the Imperial City? Now, the local tyrant had clearly turned into an earthworm. How could they still be imposing in this state? With this thought in mind, the Qilin clan leader's gaze towards the guards became even more disdainful. As for the guards, after hearing Leng Ruoxue's words, they silently ridiculed her for a long time. Chapter 2773, Ice Spirit, You're Still Alive. 1. You want to take a walk. What was there to loiter around here? It's more like they're here to make trouble. More importantly, every time Leng Ruoxue came, nothing good would come out of it. Even if they weren't on full alert, they were almost there. These guards had been on high alert ever since the city gate was attacked by unknown forces. Hence, they were extremely unwilling to see Leng Ruoxue appear at this moment. This was especially so after the city-building celebration that caused Imperial City and Divine Master to become the hot topic of everyone in the Divine Realm. After that, they disliked Leng Ruoxue even more. But if they did not like her, would Leng Ruoxue not come? As they looked at the smiling Leng Ruoxue, they knew that it was impossible. Leng Ruoxue was kind enough to give them enough time to be surprised. She then smiled and said, I haven't seen you for so long, and am starting to miss you. How are you doing, you kill Ripple bitch? He didn't die, did he? How were they supposed to answer? By the way, your new city gate is pretty good. I just don't know if it's firm or not. If there's a chance, I'll check it for you, how about it? Seeing that the guards were silent, Leng Ruoxue continued. What chance are we waiting for? I think it's better to do it today than today. There's no need for a little girl like you to do it, why don't you let me try? Hearing Leng Ruoxue's words, the Qilin clan leader suppressed his laughter and cooperated. All right then. Leng Ruoxue blinked her watery eyes and nodded unwillingly. Don't. When the guards heard the two of them singing in harmony, they were so depressed that they almost cried. Can you not be like this? This was blatant bullying. Last time, this woman had brought a cat, which scared them so much that they couldn't eat and sleep well for several days. Now, she had brought a man with obvious violent tendencies. Was she trying to kill them? Woo! They watched helplessly as the violent man rolled up his sleeves and prepared to fight. The guards were so scared that they didn't know how to react. They could only hold back tears in their eyes and stand stiffly in place. They had been scared silly. The next second, before they could react, the Qilin clan leader had already made his move. A ball of icy blue divine power flew to the sky above the imperial city with monstrous momentum. Then, the icy blue ball of light suddenly expanded several times in the air and enveloped the entire imperial city. Then, there was a loud bang. The sound of the explosion alarmed everyone in the imperial city. Almost at the same time, everyone who lived in the imperial city ran from their rooms to the place where the sound of the explosion was the loudest, which was the city gate. With one look, everyone who had come to watch was dumbfounded. At the same time, their hearts were filled with regret. Fuck. Who did they see? Wasn't this Leng Ruoxue? Why was this woman in Yu City again? What was this? Smash the place? Thanks, everyone was speechless as they looked at the newly built city walls that had now been reduced to ruins. They did not know how to react. At this time, the three reverent god-level experts in the imperial city had also arrived at the city gate. They glanced at the city wall, then at Leng Ruoxue and the tall, handsome man beside her. The three of them fell silent. Who was this man? Based on their understanding of the people by Leng Ruoxue's side, since when did that girl have such an unfathomable man by her side? The three of them were filled with doubt, especially Xian Yi. He thought he was the most familiar with Leng Ruoxue and the others, but he had never heard of the man beside her. Hence, the curiosity in his heart was like a kitten scratching, it was extremely itchy. Miss Leng, since you're here, why don't you take the normal route? It doesn't seem too good to smash our city walls, right? After a light cough, Xian Yi pretended to be serious. In his heart, he couldn't help but think, what a prodigal. The imperial city will be yours in the future. If you smash the city walls, you'll still have to use the city's money to repair it. We're taking the normal route. Leng Ruoxue replied with a faint smile. She continued, last time, we gave Imperial City face, so we didn't go through the normal way and applied to enter the city instead. Unfortunately, you took too long to discuss it, so I decided to follow my method this time. It's faster this way. Alright. Xian Yi knew that he couldn't win an argument against this girl. This girl couldn't understand his painstaking efforts. Woo. It was really painful not to be understood. Xian Yi was helpless against Leng Ruoxue, but he could tell that she had to enter the city no matter what. He turned around and discussed with the other two. In the end, the three of them unanimously decided to let her enter the city. More importantly, he had no choice but to let go. Of course, this was said by Xian Yi as the representative. When Leng Ruoxue received the notification that the other party had agreed to let them through, she was naturally happy. Then, she brought the Qilin clan leader over the ruins of the city wall and walked into the imperial city. Fuck. He could enter the city like this? When they saw Leng Ruoxue and a strange man commit such an evil act, not only did they not receive any punishment, they were even allowed to enter the imperial city. Immediately, there were people who felt that it was unfair. Xian Yi, who knew what they were thinking, glanced at the crowd indifferently and sneered, "If you guys have Leng Ruoxue's abilities, we won't pursue your actions. If you don't have the ability, then you'd better behave yourself and hide your tails. Don't let me find out that you guys have any thoughts that you shouldn't have." The strong were respected. This was the supreme rule at any time. Although Xian Yi's words sounded like he was bullying the weak and fearing the strong, at this moment, no one dared to refute him. This was because they really did not have Leng Ruoxue's abilities. If they insisted on receiving the same treatment as Leng Ruoxue, they would probably be killed on the spot by the guards of the Divine Master's estate who were angry and aggrieved but had no way to vent their anger. Cowering, the tactful people immediately scattered like birds. Seeing that most of the people had left, Xian Yi and the other two gathered together to discuss their next move. The three of them were very interested in Leng Ruoxue's purpose in coming to the imperial city. Last time, she had to go to the headquarters of the Missions Association. What about this time? Their curiosity did not last long before they heard a flustered guard come to report, "Leng Ruoxue and an unfamiliar man have appeared outside the Divine Master's residence." When Xian Yi and the other two heard this, they looked at each other. Instantly, no one had an idea. Leng Ruoxue had gone to the Divine Master's residence. Should they return? If they didn't go back, they were afraid that some people would be dissatisfied. But if they went back, what could they do? Stop Leng Ruoxue? Naturally, Xian Yi didn't have such thoughts. As for the other two reverent gods, ever since they found out that Leng Ruoxue was Master Ye's disciple, they basically didn't have any enmity towards her. Therefore, the two of them adopted an attitude of turning a blind eye to many things. As a result, the relationship between the three of them had become unprecedentedly harmonious. However, from the current situation, it was obviously impossible to pretend that he didn't know about this. Sighing lightly, the three of them helplessly decided to go back and see what was going on. Chapter 2774, Ice Spirit, You're Still Alive? 2. At the same time, Leng Ruoxue, who was standing at the entrance of the Divine Master's estate, was patiently listening to the Qilin clan leader's comments about the Divine Master's estate's entrance and the surrounding walls. From the Qilin clan leader's words, Leng Ruoxue could tell that he was very unhappy with the new walls of the God Lord's estate. After a long while, the Qilin clan leader said to Leng Ruoxue, "Girl, step back. I'm going to smash this wall." "Humph. You're a disgrace to the God Lord's estate." When Leng Ruoxue heard this, she obediently took a large step back. However, she couldn't help but complain in her heart. "Old man, are you addicted to smashing other people's walls?" Coincidentally, Xian Yi and the other two who had just arrived also heard this and their expressions changed drastically. Xian Yi was so frightened that he quickly pulled on Leng Ruoxue's arm, wanting her to stop the man from killing her. However, Leng Ruoxue could only smile apologetically and say, "Your Excellency Xian Yi, I can't stop him. I advise you not to stop him, in case you get into trouble." Ah! When Xian Yi heard this, he was stunned. Then, he asked via voice transmission, "Little girl, who is that person? How come I've never seen him before?" Him. It was the recently awakened Qilin clan leader who had a deep hatred for that ripple of mist bitch. He was currently suppressing his anger and wanted to cause trouble here. Therefore, it's best that none of you stop him. Otherwise, I can't guarantee what this ferocious Qilin, who has just been released from the prison, will do. Leng Ruoxue explained with an evil smile. He's the Qilin clan chief. That legendary. When Xian Yi heard this, he was so shocked that his face turned pale. This girl's side was indeed filled with dangerous people. Woo! This little girl is really too bold. She actually carried a time bomb with her. As a spy, Xianyi definitely knew more than ordinary people. Therefore, he was very clear about the enmity between the Qilin clan leader and Wu Yan. Now that the two enemies had met, they were extremely envious. This was indeed not something he could stop. Xianyi, who had figured everything out quickly, also retreated with an extremely ugly expression. When Xia Yi and Huang Wei saw this, although they did not understand, they also chose to advance and retreat together. After the three of them retreated to the same line, the other two couldn't help but pull on Xianyi's sleeves and whispered, "Are we just going to stand by and watch?" If the Divine Master knew about this, he would be furious. "It's not that we don't care, but we can't." Xianyi turned his head and said with a bitter smile. "What?" Their faces were filled with question marks. Looking at Leng Ruoxue, Xianyi didn't intend to hide it from these two. More importantly, he couldn't hide it from them. Therefore, he was happy to do them a favor and said in a low voice, "This person's identity isn't simple. We can't afford to offend him. Your Excellency Xianyi, don't keep us in suspense." Xia Yi said somewhat impatiently. "He is the Qilin clan chief." Xianyi said in a low voice. "The Qilin clan chief? Not the one you replaced?" Huang Wei also asked. "No." Xianyi nodded with certainty. They really couldn't afford to offend him. Xia Yi and Huang Wei deeply agreed with Xianyi's judgment. This time, the two of them were not so repulsed by watching from the sidelines. One must know that Reverent God level was different from Reverent God level. Among Reverent God level cultivators, there were also ordinary Reverent God level cultivators and top-notch Reverent God level cultivators. If Reverent God level cultivators could only be considered as middle to high-level Reverent God level cultivators, then this man could definitely be considered as a top-notch Reverent God level cultivator. In addition, the other party's original form was the most powerful beastie, and they were even less of a match. Thanks then, they could only watch the Qilin clan leader throw out a ball of icy blue divine power and smash the walls of the God Lord's estate in the same way. The moment the explosion sounded, the three of them turned their heads at the same time. The weaker guards were knocked unconscious by the aftermath of the explosion. After the explosion, Xianyi gave the other two a look, and the three of them attacked the Qilin clan leader at the same time. The Qilin clan leader was surprised when he felt the strong wind brought by the three people. Then, he took the blow excitedly. The Qilin clan leader, who hadn't fought for a long time, was extremely excited. Xianyi and the other two, who were fighting with the Qilin clan leader, smiled bitterly. The Qilin clan leader was indeed powerful. Facing the three of them, he could actually still be at ease. This really made people sigh. Comparing humans to beasts was really infuriating. Originally, they had only wanted to put on an act, but faced with the serious and fierce counterattack of the Qilin clan leader, the three of them had no choice but to face it seriously. Otherwise, they would probably be embarrassed today. The three people who didn't want to lose face immediately became serious. As the Qilin clan leader had just woken up, it was obvious that his strength had not recovered to its peak. As a result, he did not seem to be struggling at first, but after a long time, his attacks obviously weakened. However, Xianyi and the other two could not gain any advantage. In the end, Xianyi, who did not want to fight anymore, directly left the battle circle, panting heavily. After that, Xia Yi and Huang Wei also left. "Senior's strength is indeed extraordinary," Xianyi said respectfully. "Ha ha ha. He was old. I'm already panting to deal with you three little fellows." The Qilin clan leader laughed. He was getting old. The three of them were speechless because the other party was indeed older than them. However, the thing that the people of the divine realm cared the least about was age. After all, age was nothing to them. Therefore, when the Qilin clan leader said that he was old, it obviously made them feel a little confused. How audacious! Who dares to cause trouble in the Divine Master's estate? At this moment, an angry voice was heard. Then, a group of men in black jumped out of the Divine Master's residence. When Xian Yi saw the other party's stance, he couldn't help but scoff in his heart. Belated effort. What were you doing earlier? They only thought of coming out after smashing the walls. He didn't believe that the men in black had just received the news. He had probably heard that the three of them were fighting with the Qilin clan leader and felt that there were benefits to be gained, so he had rushed over to take advantage of them. Unfortunately, it was not that easy to take advantage of them. Moreover, it would not be easy for them to defeat the Qilin clan leader. The leader of the men in black did not expect to see Xian Yi's group of three and an unfamiliar man standing face to face and fighting without reporting to the guards. He was clearly disappointed. What was going on? Xuani, why are you all standing there like idiots? Hurry up and capture the people who are causing trouble in the God Lord's estate. The leader of the men in black said angrily. If we were able to catch them, would we have waited for you guys to come and pick up the scraps? Xian Yi sneered when he heard this. At this moment, Huang Wei and Xia Yi also deeply felt that it was a wise choice for them to withdraw from the battle in time. Otherwise, when they saw the faces of the men in black, they might have vomited blood. The leader of the men in black was naturally furious when he heard Xian Yi's words. He roared, Xian Yi, are you trying to betray the Divine Master? Betray the Divine Lord? It was really a big hat. You're making things difficult for us just like that. If we really wanted to betray the Divine Master, do you think we would still be standing here in such a sorry state? Xian Yi said calmly.